Did anybody else? Did Casey's mic go really quiet from like the auto bouncing?
It was really great because I could still hear her through the wall.
Hype train.
Hype train success.
There is a lot going on in the chat right now that I do not understand because I don't know anything about.
I've seen more functions of Twitch happen in the last
5 seconds.
5 seconds than I have ever in my history of that. Thank you for all your support. I don't 100% know what any of the things that you have done mean, but thank you.
Emotes are being delivered to our supporters, Casey.
Choo choo!
Pew, pew.
Choo
hype
choo!
brain.
You guys choose us to do this. So, I'm excited. Before we do anything, give a quick shout out to our new subscribers.
You have a list? I
do, actually. It just comes up. I have a mini feed of what happens. Yeah, we'll do subscriber first. At tier 1, we have Jugling East. Thank you very much.
Thank you, East.
And the favorite royalty of the chat, King Frederick VI, subscribed at not tier 1. No. Not tier 2. That's for plebeians. But tier 3! I don't know what that means, but it's 3 times as good as what Cookie did.
I did it first.
Doesn't mean anything.
Please read this message. Highlight.
No, that is the message.
Yeah.
that is the message.
That's not even a word.
You fulfilled your obligation, Casey.
Okay. I am a great streamer.
There's only one word in there. And it's the color red.
Okay. And King Frederick also has gifted a tier 1, which is just as good as what Cookie did, to Good Trulies. So I think we need a Good Truly out of this.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Shay.
That's my Good Truly.
Don't become a cam girl. Yeah, I don't know. Cool. And then Gur Elnade has also subscribed at tier 1. That was 7 minutes ago, which is 3 minutes after Cookie's first subscription. And then also we have a follower that happened sometime in the middle of the weekend or afterwards. West Side Ridas 69. Thank you for the follow. As well as JFTWY72 Security Street. Thank you for the follow. Great. Cool. So I thought we'd just do some low-key honey heists for a bit. Just kind of ease in, but with the D&D characters.
Just some
How about some
character
nice,
exploration.
Relaxing. Push the button.
Push the button. You're an alien! I won't stop talking until you're an alien. We had a very heated Jackbox games last night.
Yeah. There will now be trust issues going forwards.
Yeah, as opposed
to what there was already.
Cool.
Which was trust issues.
So, are you guys all ready to play what may very well be the final game of the Unexpected Arrivals campaign?
No. Nope.
Wait, what?
But it's happening, I think, no matter what.
You know what? We can drag it out, though. I mean, y'all, we're super
this
good.
one's drag
we
out.
We just have an argument.
So, the epic last battle, I'm going to spoil it for you right now so you can already start planning, is all of you have to go inside a room and you have 15 minutes to come up and agree on a plan. Any plan to defeat Taurin. And if you come up with a plan that you all agree on in 15 minutes, you win. If not, chat wins.
Chat wins.
Chat can hack your plan at any time. All right.
I love that we're doing this on May the 4th.
Why?
Because may the force be with you.
Force and fourth
are
different words.
Dora, what does that mean?
I can't explain what Holly's doing right now physically.
Or emotionally.
What are you doing to me emotionally? Dora supposedly linked something to make my life easier, but I don't know where it is. So
It's literally right there in the Discord.
I see it.
It's pinned.
It made my life harder. Cool. So intro. We have an intro today. Things are looking up. We Roll It Slant released Circle of the Bloom.
Now this I can't fix no matter how many bullet pointed lists I make.
That's literally what's written there. Circle of the Bloom Druid subclass is now available on the Dungeon Masters Guild. There is probably a link for it somewhere.
There's a link on the website. There is a link in the pinned tweet on our Twitter. There is, if you go down below to the panels, there is a link to all of the things that Roll It Slant has written, and also all of the things that Casey has written that are connected to Roll It Slant, because it just links to what Casey has written. But any of those things.
I thought I was doing the intro.
And you can continue.
Okay. It just got awkward there for a second. Also, as a good segue out of all of the wonderful things that Dora has alluded to, May 4th through May 17th is the Pay It Forward event on DM's Guild, meaning the writers and editors and creators of all that fine homebrew content on DM's Guild get 100% of the royalties from that. Normally they get 50%. So if you want to make a creator's day, buy stuff within that time period. Plus some titles 20%, including Reflectionist. Don't know what that means. 20% off Reflectionist.
There is, at the same time as the Play It Forward event, there is also a general 20% discount on a bunch of older titles, including our own Reflectionist, which is the best-selling thing that we have done so far, and also, I think, my favorite thing we've made. And so this is just in general a good time to take advantage of getting some stuff on DM's Guild. More money to the creators, and also you can save a little bit on the list price.
Thumbs aloft. All right. And I see that some of you have already noticed, because there's a million things happening in chat. We are now officially Twitch affiliates. I'll get back to you with more information when I learn what that means. And if you don't already, as I'm sure most of you do, please check us out on Thursdays with Timor for the Lions and Crows campaign. We are big old level 3 characters now. Ah, Lord have mercy! We just killed all the bandits! Alright.
Almost.
Except for the ones we haven't killed yet.
If you want to know what's going on with us, otherwise, check out the Twitter. Occasionally we tweet. Sometimes we retweet. At Roll It Slant. That's the Twitter. Also, website is something we have. RollItSlant.com is the website that we have.
.org.
Good. If you're looking to go all the way back to the beginning and watch from the beginning of this campaign, you're going to be disappointed, because we only started filming 38 episodes ago, so you'll only be able to go that far back. But honestly, that's probably further than any person should go. But you can, because you aren't people. You're aliens.
Sounds like what an alien would say.
It sounds like what an alien would say. All right, cool. Shout out, as always, to Kevin MacLeod and Adrian Von Ziegler for the music, which we will use tonight. There will be music. There'll be music. There'll be light. What?
You think they'll ever say you're welcome?
For the first time in forever.
We thank them every session, but do they even know?
Yeah, they watch. They're some of our bestest supporters.
Thanks, Adrian. Von Ziegler.
AVZ.
AVZ. The boy. The legend.
And, of course, I would be remiss in not thanking Roll20 for having us as part of their Spotlight program. It's been a blast. For about half of our run here, we've been on Spotlight. They keep us going, and it's a great platform to use. And, of course, for our lovely campaign art, which will have to be retired to paintings on our wall very soon by Michaela Scott at Jubilucky on Twitter. I don't know. She has commissions open occasionally. So get your favorite character or chat member drawn up and enjoy her talents as well. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the document that Dora has linked. Do we have any questions, comments, concerns?
Concerns, yes, but let's not get into that. Not about any of the things you mentioned, but
I just have general concerns.
General
concerns. All right.
General concerns.
A little How I Met Your Mother reference.
Yeah.
Okay.
We ready?
No.
So what are we doing?
Nobody knows.
What are we doing?
That feels right. That feels right.
Last time, on Unexpected Arrivals, the party lay siege to the stalwart gate in an effort to open the country of Eredor to the allied forces from the Dakoran army, who have sailed across the Jeweled Passage to make landfall to help defeat the Lich King Taurin, whose dastardly and diabolical plans seek to disrupt the balance of life and death, putting Eredor firmly in between both, neither alive nor dead, and thus untouchable by all powers. Will he succeed? Can the party find a way out of their current predicament and best Taurin before it is too late? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to part 1 of our campaign finale.
Part 1.
I don't know how long it's going to take, so we may just keep adding parts. That's why it's part 1. So, party. After successfully routing the forces at the gate, you allowed the bulk of the Dakoran army forces into this long, narrow canyon, at the center of which is a keep, the Stalwart Gate. They were able to weather the storm of the various castle defenses while you cleared out from the back to blaze a path in and open the gates. They joined you, and for a moment you breathed a sigh of relief as the army made its way inside the protected fortress walls and claimed it as its own, securing a foothold in Eredor. However, this celebration was short-lived, as warning horns were sounded on the eastern wall. Looking out towards the wilderness, out past the flat fields that lead up to the Stalwart Gate, eastern side, you saw an army of undead emerging. At their front, Lich King Taurin himself, and within a moment of being sighted, he began casting a spell. The ground beneath your feet began to shake and tremble. And the sides of the chasm begin to collapse on top of you. The first rumbling just kind of shakes, a little bit of a tremor, and then you hear cracking, and then tumbling of some rocks down. As you look up to the northern side of the canyon, you see a large chunk of the top of this mountainside break free and begin to slide down. What do you do?
I would like to cast Dispel Magic.
On what?
On the mountain that's starting to crumble.
All right, please link Dispel Magic.
Okay.
All right, range is 120 feet. Choose one creature, object, or magical effect within range. Any spell of 3rd level or lower on the target ends. For each spell 4th level or higher, do this. So, what creature, object, or magical effect are you targeting?
All right. Well, I guess I'm targeting the effect around us of this earth rumbling. So, if I yes.
I was just gonna say, as I see Roswell casting, do I have a moment to perhaps inspire her bardically?
You certainly do. Let's use
Okay.
all the class resources right now.
I also have an inspiration left. Wait a minute. How much is your bardic Oh, hang on.
DM inspiration is advantage. Bardic inspiration is 1d8.
Right. But at the moment I need to call them both now. Correct?
No, you need to call DM inspiration right now.
Before the DM says if you succeeded or failed, you
have
need
to
to
call
call Bardic.
Yeah, you get to choose after the roll.
So after you've rolled.
Okay, don't tell me if I've done anything yet. I'm going to use the advantage right now, though. So here's my first roll, and then second roll. It's a 20.
And you have 1d8.
Oh. I think
Don't
that's
need it.
I think that's overkill, though.
Always good to be safe.
DC equals 10 plus the spell's level. There's no spell higher than 9.
Until today.
Well,
Until today. All right, casting Dispel up on the northern cliff face where the first rocks are falling from. You go in an attempt to dispel the magic there. However, as the spell reaches out, trying to dispel something, there is not actually anything in range for you to hit.
this is earthquake, right?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Remember, the cliffs on either side of you are hundreds of feet tall. So you're guessing that
100-foot radius circle, centered on that point.
So it might be 200 feet above where we're at.
Of course it is. Okay.
Toss her. Toss the dwarf.
Straight
an
up.
extra 5 feet. Try it again.
Let's not. Okay.
I would like to divine intervention.
All right. How long does divine intervention take?
I
believe it's an
will
action.
link it. It is
10 minutes. I would like to get all these rocks off of me.
I think it's just
Just use your action. Second sentence.
okay. Okay. And I'd like to call out to Athena to stop this spell, save the civilization.
Kill
Help us.
Taurin, free smoothies for everyone.
Help us survive this attack.
All right.
Oh, I guess there's a roll involved. I must
It just works.
Yes.
No, it just works every time.
Well, if we were 20th level, it would.
And that's a no.
All right,
It's an
84. You're not level 84?
Unfortunately.
All right. All right, so calling out, beseeching your gods. Alas, in this moment, it doesn't seem like their divine favor is looking down upon you. Right now, you're standing in that kind of like empty courtyard, or not empty, but that open courtyard plaza area between the keep and that sort of eastern wall. Any of you who went up to see and look what the alarm was, you guys would be on the wall right now. So as this begins to happen and the rocks begin sliding down, you're guessing you probably have, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 seconds to react to this before things start hitting the ground.
Looking around, do I see anything, especially like up against the walls of the canyon, where it looks like I might be able to shout and start getting people over to there, where there might be some amount of cover?
Make an investigation
Anything so
roll.
that people aren't just like standing in the middle of fuck off nowhere to get hit by rocks.
While
Investigation.
she's doing this, I'm gonna polymorph into a giant badger and start burrowing like diagonally downwards, like against, like not like against a cliff, but the other way to try and create some kind of like shelter against rocks.
All right, so burrow lets you move through the ground, but it doesn't necessarily.
Does it not create?
It
like,
doesn't
an
create
area?
like
if
a tunnel behind
if
you.
it doesn't, then
You're not like
That's small. Hold on.
So tiny.
So yeah, you can burrow underneath the ground and
Okay,
like
but
move.
I
You
don't-
move
I don't
through
like
the
creating-
ground like it's moving through water or something, but it's not. You're not excavating. All right.
So,
Tebrin,
18 for my
Tebrin looking
investigation.
around. You do see there are some spots against the cliff face that kind of like overhang a little bit. There's no caverns or anything carved kind of deep in that you can see. There's
That's better.
the best that you can see in this, or the safest place to be, looks to be the keep itself. It's sort
Right.
of built in flush against the southern side of the wall, so it's kind of bolstered by the chasm on the southern side.
Okay, then I am going to prestidigitate my voice louder, and I'm going to start shouting and directing everybody that I can towards the keep. Since I figure that at this point, like, we're one of the few groups of people who are like up and can see, have a better sense of like what's going on cosmically. So I'm just gonna try to get as many people as I can to what seems to me to be the most protected position.
I will assist with thaumaturgy in doing this to make my voice louder as well.
All right.
Or does prestidigitation not do that?
No, it
I
doesn't.
forget.
I don't think it does.
No, but you have sparkles.
I do have
Yeah.
sparkles. Sensory. I can never keep these two spells straight.
All right. So calling.
Okay, so I don't do
calling
that,
out,
but I still shout and
I think I hear you do this,
Yes.
and I
Yeah,
know
you can
more
still
with
sort of
thaumaturgy.
yelling through. As you are looking around, you do see that most of the people are responding. Some of them look like they're jumping like out over the wall and kind of trying to run out across the field, sort of unfortunately towards Taurin's army, and they kind of disappear beyond the wall. The rest of them are frantically kind of gathering stuff. You see the general of the army, whom you met before, run out, and she yells across sort of the plaza to another tent. She says, "Secure the prisoner, get to the keep." And she turns and keeps running as several other figures, all dressed in sort of Bremeraldi robes, all come out and start just sort of spacing themselves out along kind of that main road back into that gate towards the keep there. And those of you who are kind of looking around, taking stock of the situation, you do see that over just sort of maybe about 10 or 15 feet from that northern wall, right under where that first boulder is coming, is a very small, oily creature looking up like this, just saying, "No, no, 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 no!" As the boulder begins to
how far away is this?
loose. The boulder, you have but a moment to react as the boulder begins to fall. It's probably the size of a house.
How far away is it though?
It is maybe about 100 feet up. at
No,
this
I mean,
point.
Well, like
Bim.
Bim, how
Bim.
far away it's been from her or us.
60 feet-ish.
Okay, well, I want to immediately, just like start running, polymorph into a giant eagle and try and scoop him up in my large eagle wings.
All right, go ahead and make a dexterity check as an eagle to see if you can snag the greased up pig. He's not resisting, so
Alright.
this is not a
See if I can
hugely
do it.
high
I'm
DC,
gonna
but-
use my Tides of Chaos on young Bim. Uh, 11, and I'll bend luck for an extra 1d4. 12.
All right, you swoop in and try to grab him with your talons, but
No, no.
you he kind of gets a little spooked at the last second, not knowing that the eagle is not just trying to get him, and kind of flinches and just squirts out of your talon. You do manage to kind of knock him head over heels several feet further along, but still in the path of the boulder as it starts careening down. Is there anything anyone else would like to do before this impacts? Got a chance
I
for
will go.
one more thing for people who
Go
haven't come
ahead.
yet.
I will rush out at my 65-foot move rate. And I will use a dash action if I have to, but my first attempt will be to get there and should I kick him?
Or more gently. just
Kick the
pick up-
baby.
Okay.
No. I try to pick him up.
All right. So trying to scoop him up. You see this eagle swoop in. He kind of head over heels land. Now he's like sort of caked with gravel and oil and all of that, and just trembling, absolutely terrified. You run over. Go ahead and see if you can make a dexterity check to grab him. Actually, grab him and then make a dexterity saving throw to see if you can dive out of the way of this boulder. The first
Saving
one to
throw.
hit.
You
Dexterity
got it.
saving throw. As you're able to. All right, so
21.
you kind of scoop him up, grabbing him by the scruff of his neck in stride, take 2 more steps, and then flying leap out as you kind of toss him out in front of you, and the rock slams into the ground, sending smaller chunks everywhere as Bim sort of skids along and sort of looks over his shoulder at you. And then he runs over and like tries to help you up, but he just covers you with oil.
All right, initiative. That's it. How dare you?
All right. At this point, there are multiple cracks and sort of fissures in that northern side. As this first boulder has come down, it's jarred other things loose, and it looks like now less of just like single chunks are falling down. That like it's kind of a sheet of things is going to fall and cave in like that. So it's starting to become less things you can dodge, and now more just a massive cave in.
I think it's time
Yes.
for us to also go towards the keep.
Akira, what would you like to do?
Looking around, is there any stone surfaces that are like less than or equal
Everywhere.
to 5 feet thick?
Less than or equal to 5 feet thick. You're guessing maybe one of the walls to the keep or the outer wall might be less than 5 feet thick.
I'd like to run over to that and stone shape a small passage. I link it. It says about halfway down. You can make a small passage through a wall as long as the wall is less than 5 feet thick.
All right. The wall itself is less than 5 feet thick, as you basically carve or sculpt another sort of arching doorway through this lower half of that median wall in towards the keep area that also goes into the keep itself. So now there's the portcullis up to the north, and this entrance Akira has made. As you see, a lot of the soldiers that kind of were having to run more in the line of danger have now reverted back, seeing this, and start making their way through. Another sheet of rock tumbles, this one more towards the gate itself, and you can see several of the Dracoran mages run over, and one of them sort of reaches their hand up and holds the rock, and it just sort of pauses about 10 feet above the ground and then slowly redirects and falls off. You can tell that great physical exertion to them. Another one shoots something out into the air, pulverizing a piece of rock. It does kind of cascade and shower all over, some of the pieces hitting and knocking down the stride. You see there is a collection of soldiers that had tents set up on that northern wall who are not waking in time and will likely not wake again, as a big part of this falls and then topples forward. What is everyone doing?
Trying to get as many people to safety as possible. Like, I imagine just standing at that passage I created and just like trying to get people through, yelling out like, this way, this way.
All right. As you holler out, the ground kind of lurches again as another sort of large part of the cliff face cracks and kind of spins, slams into the ground. You can see now it's just like teetering to topple over and probably hit the other side and then all cave in down there. And as it hits the ground and the ground shakes, I need all of you to make dexterity saving throws to see if you can get prevent being knocked prone from this.
As somebody flying and not on the ground, do I need to make
No.
this?
18 for me.
9.
I like how you rolled a 1 and got a 12.
I have a 12.
15.
All right, DC is 15, so anything below 15 is unfortunately tripping and falling prone through this as rocks scatter off. As that larger piece...
Who put oil all over me?
you look up and that larger piece of the cliff that's fallen now, it has sort of smashed against the other side. And for a second there, it just kind of teeters above all of you now, just totally shading out any little light that was sort of diffusing in. And then you just hear as it cracks and begins to fall into larger pieces. So anyone who is currently prone and not able to avoid these is going to take some damage. As pieces of debris begin to fall, it's 13 points of bludgeoning damage as these go.
I'm gonna try to get to Akira and drag her upright, and then start heading. I'm gonna try to get everybody towards the keep.
All right, scrambling back towards the keep. You can see Tifrael just sort of standing, surveying the situation, not moving with intense urgency, and you can tell she's kind of looking back at that eastern gate and sort of looks back at the keep and then back at the eastern gate as you hear Karut's voice yell out. He's already kind of at the wall entrance that you've carved out, Akira. He just yells out back, "Tifrael! This way to the keep!" She sort of looks over her shoulder, looks back at the gate, and then pauses for a moment, and then finally turns, and as another sort of large tumbling boulder slams to the ground, rolling over, she just kind of puts her hand out, and you can see this burst of roots just kind of catches the boulder as it's about to intersect her path, and it kind of just slows there as she keeps walking past it, and makes her way there. Several other people screaming come running, but just sort of muffled, fall out of view. You can't see them. Everything's super dusty now, as it looks like from that impact across the way now the southern side has started to cave in on this, and it won't be more than 10 seconds until this entire place is just completely gone.
Is that the courtyard area or the keep itself?
It's going to collapse in on everything. So it started in the courtyard area, but because all these things are falling and bouncing off of each other, it's the whole sides of both canyons are collapsing. This is going to probably cause a cave-in that's 400 or 500 meters long by the time all is said and done. Or 400 to 500 feet, sorry, not meters.
I'm going to swoop on into the keep.
All right.
Yeah,
Into the
sorry.
keep.
I'm having a hard time, but that's just my block. Okay. Let me run to safety.
Keep.
Yeah.
All right. So Akira was your name is Jesse on the screen, so I keep
Sorry.
almost saying Jesse.
I can change it.
Yeehaw!
Akira, Kendra, and Tebrin, since Tebrin was scooping Akira up, you guys all make it in through that archway that Akira has carved. Karut's there as well, and you can see several more of the soldiers and the general make it in that way, and with the prisoner as well. Roswell, Bim, Tifrael, Wallesley, and anyone who I haven't named yet, sort of this large, almost pillar-like part of rock comes down from the south side, just falls, blocking your way from getting to the entrance that Akira has. As things start to just sort of tumble, more like a wave now. It's sort of like this constant constant onslaught of rock above you as you just see the others just disappear out of view and the dust kicks up around everything. What would you guys like to do? The remaining ones?
How long has this been?
This whole process has been maybe about 30 seconds to a minute. Things are collapsing fast.
Is there a way?
He casts the spell up, not like.
You don't entirely know.
Oh, well, is there any way around the large
Make a
barrier?
Make a perception check with disadvantage because it is very cloudy right now, or very dusty, I guess.
Ah, yes, I have very good perception, so it's fine. Actually, I'm not bad at perception.
From my ring, can I cast dancing lights at the entrance of the
Disadvantage.
passage?
Yep, easily enough done. Just
13.
Sort of illuminates there. You do see kind of this faint, like, sort of muted glow out past things, but it's very quickly sort of obscured with more falling debris. With the 13 looking around, doesn't seem like there's any current way that you can get to this same area that that those who made it sort of directly into the keep go. You do see that the archway, the portcullis that went into that sort of main area of the keep, you know, kind of where the road went on that map up in the top left. That archway is still standing, and there look like there are people kind of huddled there for shelter. A large boulder is propped up on the inside, sort of, if the wall is here with the portcullis gate through it, there's a boulder that's kind of resting there, so it's kind of made a natural shelter. And it looks like there are people starting to huddle there because they don't think they can make it into the keep itself.
Did it appear, my last question is did it appear that the avalanche that's been started has already hit the majority of it? Or is this just the very beginning of a much larger landslide?
Make a nature
is it
check
obvious?
For me. Make a nature check for me.
Nature. I am, by nature, not a nature fellow. Here is my 2. Well, I'm sorry. I rolled a 2, but I got a 1.
All right.
So I okay.
It's hard to tell what's magical and what's just collapsing.
No, I don't mean magical, and I don't mean collapsing. What I mean is
how much
the
more
majority
is it
on
collapse?
the ground. Is the majority on the
there's
ground?
a
or
lot.
Is there a lot more coming?
There's a lot more mountain above you.
All right.
Mountains are big.
I mean, that's what you get with a 1. There's a lot more mountain above you.
How far away is that gate then you said where people are taking cover?
Like, I don't know, 20, 30 feet. Not very far.
Yeah, well then that's where I'm headed.
Yeah, I will follow Wellesley.
All right. So,
For some reason,
you kind
thought
of
it was a million miles away.
managed to dive in. Yeah, the whole courtyard is only about 120 feet or so. So you guys reacted quickly going through. And as you kind of dive in there, another, not large boulder, but kind of landslide-ish flow of debris comes and sort of closes off the way that you came in back, keeping you in this sort of now oddly angled cave almost between this boulder and that main wall, as you just see all light disappear as it fills in with rock, debris, and dirt and such. And you're in there with Bim, who has come with you.
Oh, I didn't take.
Okay, Bim's crushed to death.
That's fine.
So Bim, Wallesley, Roswell, and Tifrael sort of catches in stride with you, who's cut off by that same rock in there. The rest of you make it into the lower room of the keep. And for the next minute, 2 minutes or so, it's just the dull sort of thudding sound of more rock and debris falling. Occasionally something falls and shakes everything and sort of dust settles down in. And after 2-3 minutes pass, by 5 minutes, it doesn't seem like anything is left to come down. But as people open the various doors and the various archways and stuff that you've carved into this, there's just solid rock and debris all scattered there. So you're guessing this whole place is very well buried in.
Yeah.
Could have gone better. I'm gonna look around and take stock of how many people are in this room.
All right. Looking around, and you did see a fair amount file in. You're guessing in the bottom sort of floor of the keep, and then you do, as you kind of walk around, you do notice that there is actually a ladder that goes down into a cellar area, and you look down there, and there's probably about 20 to 30 people down there, as well as 15 to 20 people in this main room.
Okay, so tiny fraction. Tiny fraction.
I mean, you don't know where. That's just the people located in there. So I would say 75 to, or 50 to 75 people made it into this part of the keep. Not the entire 1,000 were in that courtyard plaza. Some of them were still on the other side. Some of them may just be boxed out by this and are in the pass behind. It's hard to tell where everyone is at this point. But it's not like it just killed 1,000 people. Like hundreds probably, but...
All right, and do I see Karut and the armor lady, whose name I don't know because I was never involved in any scene that involved her?
It was General Fancy Pants.
let me look up.
That'll make a good
I don't
impression.
want to say the wrong name because there's 3 generals and you haven't met 2 of them. Let me look it up. What was that in? Unexpected arrivals notes.
This is the general that wanted to suppress with the suppression item, if you will,
Yes,
the mutant collar around the X-Man or the sorcerers. I'm confused.
We will check our notes as
Well, I'll turn to Tiff and Roswell. Looks like we live here now.
Oh my god, I have to nervous pee. Hang on.
I'd like to think that's in character as well. Where was this?
Yeah, she's heavily armored. That's fun. It's gonna be fun.
20 minutes later, I'm out of my armor. Done peeing as well.
I know we first met her in Vesular,
Roswell? No.
the armor lady.
I mean, Roswell was born in Vesular.
So on an existential level.
You still didn't meet her there. I met her on a boat coming to this island. Existentially as a gnome.
Is there a search feature?
The next first meeting I had with Roswell was she was dying because she had some kind of alien larvae inside of her.
We've had some fun times.
Look at us now. Look at us now.
Crushed to death by a mountain.
Said that out loud.
Don't worry, it's recorded. That will be on the internet forever.
I don't care.
Commander Corsace is her name. Typically referred to as the Paragon. Is sort of her.
I'm not doing that.
Her call sign, if you will.
Well, luckily for everybody involved, I'm not actually an official member of the Dracaran army, so.
Yes.
Pretty much you're like one of the rebels they're fighting.
So, she
I mean, who likes a drow, really?
She is there. You can see them. Her first concern appears to be first with kind of taking a little bit of a count as you are doing, and then quickly locating where the prisoner is, having him brought and put in sort of one of the corners of the keep. And at that point, Karut has found her as well. They sort of begin talking. You can see there are a couple of the other mages that have made it in here. You're guessing there was probably about 10 of them. You see 2 of them in here.
I'm gonna beeline towards that conversation.
All right.
If our passageway is blocked, is that what's like? Are they covered up with stone? Is that what's happening?
Anything that leads outside of the keep at the moment, like the passageway you came in through that you had stone shaped, is all sort of filled in with debris. Some of the others have tried some of the first floor doors to two things. Those have also either just been unopenable if they open to the outside, or people have opened things and it's just sort of a small cave-in of stuff.
I think I would just like try and take charge of people and try and get people to clear out the passageway.
All right, fair enough. The digging effort will commence going. Anyone else want to be doing anything?
Going towards the conversation.
Are you still a giant eagle, Kendra?
I would probably have ungiant eagled after getting into the keep.
Okay.
After realizing it probably wouldn't be a good look.
Bark, bark, bark.
I think you look regal.
Yeah.
Thank you, I say as I have already lost eagle form.
Don't let it go to your head.
I'm yelling a lot. I'm yelling.
Going in
Tabard!
here.
I'm using thaumaturgy actually to yell really loud. Help!
Do I
Guys,
hear this?
You okay?
What's your passive perception?
21.
You can hear very muffled sort of yelling. It's hard to make out exactly what they're saying or that, but you do hear.
Okay. And do I have a sense of where that's coming from? I still don't have a good I don't have a mental picture solidly of the situation that we're in. Also. But do I have a sense of where it's coming from?
So you guys are. The keep is here, right?
Oh, look at how many died. Oh my god.
The keep is down here. So the wall that Akira stone shaped is sort of in through this, going straight into the keep there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
then the archway that you guys kind of sheltered in is over like in this area up top. So that's underneath. This is the portcullis. And so here, I'll get these guys out of the way for you. So the portcullis is here, and then so underneath that, there's a rock that's kind of fallen on the inside that props it up on there. So you guys are probably only about, I don't know, 40 or 50 feet from each other. And then as you guys were running down here, but then the rock sort of fell in this kind of area that blocked your path.
I think I'm using everything at my disposal. I'm yelling. I am making those harmless tremors. Like I'm just trying to anything that I can get to get that alerted over here. I'm making thunder rumble. I don't know. I'm just desperately clawing and screaming,
Okay.
yelling, for Tebrin and Akira and Kendra, not knowing if they're in there. I'm all, I'm just, I'm also frantic because I don't know if they're crushed.
Okay. I am going to, in that case. So, am I picturing this right? There's multiple levels to the keep, right?
The keep is probably 5 or 6 stories tall.
Can I go up a level?
You can, yeah.
I'm going to go up a level and see if that gets me high enough that I can look out over
All right.
situation.
Climbing up to the second level, you see that there are some places where the walls are kind of cracked and boulders have fallen in. You look out one of the sort of murder holes. You think looking up towards the north there, and you just see solid dirt and debris.
Okay, can I go up another level?
Yep. Going up there is one section of the wall up here, sort of the southwest corner of the keep that has been just completely collapsed, and you see this large, very kind of sharp rock that kind of cuts in like an axe into wood into the side of the keep. there and going up. The stairs are kind of shattered with that heading up, so you can see that part of the floor above you is exposed, but the rock has collapsed through the stairwell. Looking out the window, you see that there is currently just dirt and debris outside the third story window as well.
And so is there no way for me to keep going up?
Not unless you're trying to climb over things or doing something other than walking up the stairs.
Does it seem like I can climb without, like, destabilizing things?
You can certainly try.
I'm gonna start trying to, but if I feel things start to slip and slide underneath me, or like if I hear stuff starting to shift, I'm gonna stop doing that. Because I don't want to bring the keep down on everybody's heads.
All right, make a strength athletics check.
Oh, can't I convince you to let me use dexterity?
Nope, because you are climbing.
Strength athletics. Gross. 14.
All right. You do manage to suss out the situation, and as you kind of reach up and grab on something, if you feel it's weaker or cracking or something, you kind of move and find another hold. After about a minute and a half, you manage to kind of swing your leg up and over the top onto the next floor, and you can now see that there is probably 2 or so floors more above you, but looking out and up, you can see that there's probably about, what were we at, 3? There's probably about 3.5 stories of debris and rubble and rock, and so you can see that sort of the top part of the keep has been smashed, and you can see, looking up, you can see little cracks of that like twilight sky there. So you're guessing that if you made your way kind of up, eventually you might be able to sneak through and squirt out on top of all of this.
Is there a way that I can point like back down the stairwell and get a message through to Kendra to tell her that I'm going to keep going up?
Not through 1 foot of stone, no.
Okay. Okay, I'm just going to keep going up.
Okay. You sort of make your way as far as natural things will allow you, about 12 feet or so off of kind of that floor that you're on now. You do see that there is a cave-in of rocks that looks like you can sort of squeeze your way between several rocks and maybe eke your way out on top of things.
Okay. I will carefully do this.
All right. Give me a dexterity acrobatics check to see how contortion-y you can be on your way up and through this.
Hitting me.
All right.
It's an 8.
You make it about halfway through and kind of misjudge when one of these openings opens a bit, and you kind of not stand up, but
the whole tower.
Move up. Yes, move up quickly, slamming yourself against something, and then a bit of debris falls and catches in something else, and you can feel that something shifts and kind of pins your chest.
Good. So I'm just stuck here forever now.
Between that rock and another one, and you will take you'll take 12 points of bludgeoning damage. Just sort of
Right.
wedges you in there. Might be a broken rib.
Okay. Bad idea.
Definitely enough to work your way out of. You are currently considered restrained.
Good. Great. I love this, actually.
I think Rosal's getting more panicked and frantic and is like beating on the rock. Her hands start to bleed a little bit. Like, just... I look over at Tifrael, desperate. And I'm like, I don't know what to do to get us out of here.
Well, I don't think punching the rock is gonna help.
Well, it feels better right now. I can't just stand there and do nothing.
Well, I think maybe it's better to think about what we should do rather than punching the rock.
What is your idea then?
She just sort of looks around. I mean, does anyone have a shovel?
Let me look at my explorers adventures.
How tall was the arch? Thinking back, how tall was the arch itself?
The arch itself, you mean like the top of like the gateway portcullis, or like the top of that wall?
Both. So we'll have an arch as our roof, right?
Yeah.
But how far does the structure extend past that as well? And I
Uh,
need to know how far
probably
it is.
so if you were gonna get to like the walkway on top of the arch, which you kind of climbed up and started picking off archers
I
and
do
casters
remember,
and
yeah.
stuff there, the first level causeway there is about a story and a half up. So above the arch itself is maybe 12 feet tall, so it's maybe another 4 or so feet above that. Not too far. And you can see the top of the arch. It's like this very scenic part in your little cave. It's just slanted rock, and the arch is like right on there.
Well, if you ask me, we can maybe loosen a few of the pieces of the arch is damaged, correct?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's. I
So
mean, it's
we
still
loosen
like
it-
structurally there, but it's not.
Yeah, I understand, but
great
it's
shape,
it's
yeah.
definitely taken some damage. So we could loosen some of these rocks here, right? And it might have a gap between that and that entire big giant rock that's pinned us down here. We might be able to climb up and out as opposed to, because we're never going to tunnel through all the debris that's going to be in the courtyard.
Correct.
So we already have a 12-foot head start if we start up here, if we can get there. And I'd imagine it's nice and lumpy down here, so I'd imagine we could probably just climb there easily. But that's my imagination.
There's no doors down there that led to the latches to open the.
I have 2 miners picks. We've got miners picks. I think we got them. I pulled them out of the bag
not
of holding.
miners.
The
Sorry.
miners.
I pull it out of the bag of holding.
Wrong
Miner's
campaign.
pick.
Kobold approved. All right, excellent.
And then I think there's a great axe in here too if we needed leverage.
One of the other soldiers takes the miner's pick and then sort of looks back at Walsley. We're going up.
Right. If we can loose one or two, we might find a gap we can squeeze through. By the way, we already are in our climber's kit attire, correct? Excellent.
Yes.
I'll start with the pitons,
All right.
pitons,
So
pitons.
you guys set to work. The soldiers there are
Pecans.
very sort of cooperative and willing to get the job done. Tifriela just sort of paces back and forth, kind of eagerly looking up. You can tell she's sort of going through her her mind, and occasionally her hand sort of flares up with a little bit of energy, and you can see that. Actually, make an insight check, Roswell, as I would imagine you're watching this.
Yes, I am. That's a 26.
All right, watching her do this, you didn't really notice it before, as everything was kind of very deliberate. But you get the sense in this instance that she kind of wants to like cast something or do something to help, but she doesn't know how. And thinking about it, everything that you've sort of seen her do now was all very instinctual.
I'm gonna go over to her and not take her hand, but do that thing where you're kind of like put my hand kind of close, you know, I'm not gonna touch her, but just kind of, like that. Very gentle. I'm here to help.
Well, the picks will do well.
No. You.
I appreciate it.
Do you remember when we first met?
At the farmhouse.
Yeah. And you caught me doing some magic.
Busted. Your magic.
And I look at a piece of her shirt that I imagine that's torn or something.
She's totally naked.
Is she really?
No.
Oh, okay. I was like,
No.
it's not... No, she's wearing my old armor.
I'm just never gonna yes and again. Just always absolutely no, hard stop. All right, yes.
So like
And?
I no. I mend like a piece of her shirt that's torn or whatnot. We're in this together. And I know you don't like it. But we can do this. The only way out is through. And no one's alone here. I know you were alone for a very long time, and I feel very badly about that. But we're here in the present. And I'm with you.
I do appreciate it. I know it may not seem like it. And she kind of looks down, and you see a little boggle kind of like tugging on her trouser leg. You're not alone. Kind of like hugs her leg, kind of half smiles.
Chew.
Wolsey sneezes in the corner.
Yeah, as he sneezes.
There's a lot of dust in the air.
As he sneezes, Bim's like ah! And just like hugs around Tiff's leg.
Bizarre sneeze. Almost sneeze.
It's hard to see a way forward.
Well, here's the thing. We either stand here and punch the wall and go nowhere, or we move forward. Because you just told me punching the wall's not helpful. And you know what? That was pretty smart. So, why not go out trying all we can and versus just giving up and standing here? We may be defeated, but let's be defeated in a blaze of glory. That sounds really weird. I feel like that's something Amarius would have said, but it feels right. I don't want to just roll over and give up.
Last time we tried to go in a blaze of glory, everyone died.
Yep, I can't change that. But again, we sit here and continue to die slowly, painfully, or we take a big chunk out of this fucker so other people can bring him down. I'd rather try than not. This fate was not put in front of me to sit here and do nothing. I've worked too hard, and I'm gonna lose a lot. But we've got the only way out is through.
Roswell, I trust you, and it's not something I say lightly, but if it comes to it, I want you to kill me. I don't want whatever Taurin has in store. Promise me.
I want to insight what she's saying. Like, does she know that she's still is there a beat of control that he has over her right now? That is she saying this because she knows something deeper, or is it fear?
Make an insight check.
Okay. That's a 20. It's a dirty 20.
There's definitely sort of a little bit of trepidation in her voice, asking, and almost a little bit of like shame behind it. The overall kind of motivation that you sense for it is one of almost sort of fatigue and exhaustion at kind of the grind of being dead and then alive, and whatever happened to her in between is not something that she wants to do again.
Okay. The cycle of life is part of my calling. And I want to see you go out the way you want to go out.
So that's a yes.
It is. Wait a minute. Can I clarify this? Yes, please, real quick. Is this like, if he's taking you away, oh my god, shoot me through the head? Or like, oh my god, if we won, then kill you? Or can I let you decide after we win? Can we revisit this after we win? I just want to make sure that, like, I got this do not resuscitate thing, like, absolutely down pat, because, wow, that would really suck if we won. And then I'm like, she said she's got to go. You know what I mean? Like, would that...
Wallesley, I know I don't know you very well, but I feel like I can trust you. If something is to go awry and I fall into Taurin's hands, promise me that you'll not let him take me. At least not alive.
I can make that promise, but just because Roswell is slightly manic right now doesn't mean she's not the most trustworthy person I've ever met. Rely on her.
It's not a bad idea to have this promise of two of us, though. It just kind of increases her odds of her wishes.
Like she said, we're strangers. And we find ourselves fighting the same enemy. That's fine, we're allies. But you and her have a history. I'm not going to steal that from you.
Oh.
You will be able to be relied upon.
Okay. I'm just saying, like, if I'm not here, if I'm dead, Wallesley, like, you would do it, right?
I would do what I need to, of course.
Okay. So...
Hey!
Yes,
that's
Tiffany.
quite a cheerful conversation down there, but I think I loosed something. This rock. Kind of see my way out.
Excellent.
You want to take the little greasy thing and see if we can squirt him up there?
Yeah, that sounds fun. Yeah.
Tiff kind of bends over and scoops them up. He's like, no.
Vim, it's okay, we're getting out.
No, it's fine. Fine here. We're doing good. I'm good.
I like being in a hole, actually.
And then you just see him as the guard sort of like... and he kind of squirts through, leaving a little residue up there. Couple seconds pass as he sort of blocks out the little area, and you just hear...
Being hits expired. Oh.
I'm out. Sort of. Hello?
We're still here.
I can't see anyone.
We're coming.
Okay.
Don't make the ground too greasy out there.
Starting now.
Soldiers, is that passage big enough for, well, actual people to get through?
They kind of look around, and there's one like slightly more portly soldier. None of them are wearing like heavy armor or anything. He kind of looks. Well, most of us will probably squeeze through, but probably could use either a lot more of that greasy thing or a little bit more digging.
Well, be careful, but let's dig it out because I don't want to rely on that greasy thing because that could shoot us back down here in the wrong way.
I've been there before. He just sort of slams the pick in again, kind of breaks off another thing, keeps going. All right, Tebrin pinned under rocks up 3 stories with Akira and Kendra down below. What are you guys doing?
If I got anywhere.
So you are trying to dig where?
The passage that I carved out.
All right. Going through, nobody seems to have any kind of shovels or anything that they can find. And so there are half dozen soldiers who kind of have joined in. That's kind of the most that can sort of effectively work. And you guys start pulling and clearing rocks out. As you make a little headway, you kind of heave out one of the larger stones. It's maybe about this big. Sort of more dirt and debris kind of caves in around it. You're very slowly kind of pushing out that way, but every time, sort of like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, as more sort of dirt and debris just file back in this passage. You're guessing it's gonna be long going, and it does kind of at parts collapse in from the top, like there's nothing structural above it anymore.
I imagine like somewhere in between trying to clear out the area, like I look back at some point and I don't see Tebrin. So I start looking for Tebrin.
All right.
See, you know how sometimes you just have like a really bad day,
Like a
and then
wait, where is
like, the
Tebrin?
last bad thing happens, and you just have to have like a good like 5-minute stress cry. Tebrin is having his 5-minute stress cry.
All right. You don't see Tebrin.
All right, I start asking around. Has anyone seen Tebrin? Is Karut in our little group somewhere?
Yep.
If he's around, I'll definitely go to him and try and ask around for Tebrin. Because I know he knows Tebrin.
Saw he was poking around upstairs. After you went up there, I didn't see anything.
Upstairs, Jesus. All right.
I mean, that's a fair response to just about anything Tebrin does.
I'll go up that way. Carefully.
You head up the stairs to the first level. Don't really see anything. Head up 1 more level. Still don't see anything. See stairs collapsed. And it looks like it's possible to potentially climb your way sort of up to the 4th level there, but
then you have to roll.
See anybody?
I mean, one by one.
No, there were 2 rolls involved.
These are...
I did fine on the one that didn't have a +7 modifier on it.
Taurin isn't actually a lich. Taurin is just the name of this mountain.
All right, just whatever I need to do to get to him, or see any signs that he's been through this way, or
make an investigation roll for me if you're looking for him.
Looking for Tebrin.
I like how at no point in this is anyone using the power of voice to locate anyone.
Well, that's a 9. If I Tebrin,
Mountain will hear you.
Tebrin.
Do I hear her?
Yeah.
Yeah, but normal Tebin would stab you for doing this. Like in any other situation.
No signs that Tebrin has gone through here. Tebrin, you can hear Akira being like, well...
Up another level. Oh, may have... A couple mistakes were made.
Up another level I go.
All right. We'll say for the sake of expediency that takes you the better part of 3 or 4 minutes, but you are able to wiggle your little dragonborn body up there, like a iguana. I don't know, do iguanas climb on rocks? So you're there, and you look up and you see just Tebrin's legs and butt. The rest of him is just stuck into like this crevasse.
I'm so glad this happened in the least dignified way that it possibly could.
What are you doing?
Look, I said mistakes had been made.
You should have said something about going off by yourself. I was trying to get us out down below.
I can't take responsibility for my genetics.
Okay, it's kind of hard to hear you over there, seeing as I'm looking at your butt.
First of all, my ass is great. And second of all, it's a little hard to talk when your ribs are being crushed.
Okay. Looking like, is there a way that I can get Tebrin out or like partially lift a rock or something to get him unstuck?
Try any of these things. You can try to just pull him out. You can try to lift a
Well,
rock. You can try to...
Doing as least amount of damage as possible, both to Tebrin and to the structure of this falling. Whatever we're in.
Which option is that?
Whichever looks safest.
Which is?
Pull, like either lifting the rock or, I don't know, like, I don't know how you're really in there. Are you crushed like this, or?
Looks like there is some debris that is a little bit loose above him, that if you could pry that out, you might be able to sort of lift and pull him back a little bit.
Okay. Let's do that.
All right. Go ahead and make a strength check for me to see if you can kind of simultaneously lift and give him a good who's your daddy to get him out.
Strongest. This is not a save, though. This is just a strength.
Just a strength check.
Where's strength out? Where
Tebrin
are
doesn't
you?
weigh much, so.
17 actually
Right.
didn't do horribly.
You feel the rock above you shift up a little bit so that you can finally kind of like take a deep breath. But as you're breathing in that first breath, you just feel yourself immediately sliding back, sort of grinding your face along this tunnel as Akira kind of holds the rock up, and then once she gets you pulled out, sort of grabs both of your ankles and drags you another like 3 feet across the floor until you're full clear of it, and the rock kind of falls back on sort of blocking that path. You can still sort of see little ways around it, but it'll have to be cleared out again.
We got lucky. Are you all right? You're muted.
He's lost
Tebrin
the
just like
ability to
sits up and
speak.
has a scrape down one side of his face.
I'm sorry,
I
I
think.
tried.
No, I appreciate it. Fuck, have you heard anything from Roswell?
No, I haven't. I was trying to get us out through the tunnelway that I created, but it's slow work.
I heard something that it's stopped now, but there was something. It sounded like there was somebody shouting. I was trying to get up far enough to. Fuck me.
How's your rib?
Ow.
Okay. Great.
Actually, at this point, it's less my rib and more my entire being.
Well, I will do a little spell.
Oh,
to try
no,
and...
save it. Save it. I'll just.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Do you want me to wrap? You want me to wrap you?
I was just gonna kind of sit down for a while and have a good cry, and then.
My name's Akira, and I'm here to say there's nothing to fear, and we will win the day. Okay,
Where's Karut during all this?
he is downstairs.
Can I go see what he's doing?
Yes, he is currently standing about 6 feet or so from the prisoner with Commander Corsace, and they appear to be going back and forth a little bit, not in like a heated argument, but in sort of a vigorous discussion.
I would like to join.
That's
said
what
vigorous
Millie would
discussion.
say.
All right. So They're just. Are you just gonna stand there and kind of listen?
I want to hear what's being said first before I.
Before you say anything.
Yeah.
I'm asking because that's uncharacteristic. It seems like they're
Kill one of your characters.
they're kind of talking about whether or not the prisoner can be trusted, and generally seem to be bringing up the question of whether things he's previously said are true. Are they part of some other plot or a trap? Karut seems to be taking a side that he's trustworthy, and after about 30 seconds of them having this sort of conversation, they both sort of stop talking and both kind of like stand, like turn and look at you in unison as Commander Corsace chimes in first. Is there something we can help you with?
Well, we sort of want to get out of here, right? So I was, coming over here to see if you made any headway in that sort of idea process yet.
Well,
See if I could lend a hand, maybe.
We have several people. She kind of points over to the excavation that Akira has started. Several people digging out in that direction, and
You've got a dragonborn with a shovel. That's the plan?
At the moment, I think we're safer in here than we are out there.
But the people out there are less safe out there than they are in here.
Do you think there's people still alive out there?
Yes. I'm pretty sure if Roswell were dead, she would be haunting us right now.
Karut's like...
So I'm confident in that much. Also, I think it'd take more than a bunch of rocks to kill some of the people out there.
Tebrin went upstairs. Perhaps he's tried to find a way out and up. Could convene with them. We need to get a handle on this interrogation to see if really is some headway to be made or not. It's lucky that I managed to survive, and it seems, or at least at face value, that he's willing to work with us. Pulled one of our soldiers in before one of the last rocks could collapse. I don't know. He needs someone more persuasive than I to perhaps talk him into the idea.
It isn't. Can you hear what's going on? This conversation?
These are inaudible whispers.
Okay, so we're all bleeding on each other's shoulders.
Yeah, it's just like a three-way shoulder talk.
Can I talk to him?
Don't give him any strategic information. Like,
I don't
all
know
of our
anything.
forces are trapped under stone or anything like that. We would hate to have him know that we're tactically disadvantaged at the moment. Yes, just go talk to him.
Okay, I'll go talk to him. I'm gonna go talk to him.
Kind of.
You thought we were going to end this session?
Looks up at you. His hands are bound sort of in the front. He's just sort of sat with the back against the wall. Looks a bit older, kind of grayed hair, nice, healthy, kind of full beard, battle-worn face, dressed in pretty ornate armor, half plate, definitely bearing all of the colors and heraldry of the Bronze Guard. Make a history check for me.
I will. 23.
It's been a while, but you actually, thinking back, recognize this man.
Who is this man?
You recall from the King's Council meeting, which to you is only maybe, let's say, maybe the better part of a year ago. But to him, it's been 8 years or so. This is Commander Braxis, Edemir Braxis. He was the head of the Bronze Guard.
So, I remember you. I sit down on the floor. Sweet.
Are you going to make any sort of introduction, or is it just a...
Oh, hello, I'm Kindra Havel. We met once in the King's Council room. I can't remember what the conversation was about. We were the people that, it was like 7-8 years ago now, that Taurin sent into the Feywild.
Oh.
That's us. Well, it's me and some of the others. Funny how things all loop back around.
World is full of things you can't predict, I found.
Like unexpected arrivals and such. I know what you mean. So, was working with Taurin everything it was cracked up to be?
What are you trying to get at?
I'm trying to ask why you're working for a man that's trying to kill then unkill everyone in order to, you know. Is that what you want?
Hasn't always been like this. I do believe at some point Taurin has had the best intentions for the country in mind, and I serve my country. And therefore the king of it.
I understand. I was on Team Taurin at one point as well. I thought he was I look up like through the ceiling as the head shake of Tebrin somehow pierces. I understand.
You can feel
well.
him judging you
the
from
only
3
thing
stories
in
up.
D&D not blocked by a foot of stone is Tebrin's scornful head shake.
I thought he was a man well-intentioned as well at one point, but clearly I think we can agree that things have spiraled into a different area that are against the betterment of not only the country, but of everywhere.
I am in agreement there, but his obsessions have driven him out of reach of being stopped, and I fear that since this trap was so successfully executed, that the chances of catching him are, at least before he completes whatever it is he's working on, are slim to none.
I don't think it was it was slightly successful, but I don't think it really achieved everything that he wanted it to achieve. The gates were still taken, and the most important people are still right here, so he's entirely stoppable with the right information and the right motivation and a little bit of teamwork.
This trap it's not meant to defeat the army. It's simply meant for him to buy time for whatever his ritual is to complete.
I understand that. But I don't think it'll buy enough time to matter.
Well,
how long do you think he needs before his ritual's complete? If you had to estimate, you know him, you know sort of timelines he was working under, don't you?
Well, whatever it is, it's already underway. It was before the attack. a day, 2 days, maybe. And his obsession with all of this merging power of life and death and all of that, it was something that vexed him for many, many years, and I served under him, with hopes that he did have the best of intentions, and that sacrifices are needed in most great pursuits. He warned that eventually there would be enemies at our doorstep coming to invade and take all that which we had worked for. And he sort of surveys the room. Well, it's correct in that prediction at least. I fear that there's no Eredor left to take that was the old Eredor, and there's nothing left for me to defend here. He's all but a small fraction of the population is left hidden away in Romont. It's only a matter of time until he consumes them as well. He sent me in the last of his living army here as a lure, the Dynatrap for the Jacoran army, and I was here to command them. I had hoped, until before all of this, that he was right, and that he could bring the power to Eredor without destroying all of it, but if it comes at total destruction, then that's too high a cost. He left me here, and said that as a last resort, we could retreat and cave in the entrance to buy ourselves time, or at least reduce the first wave of the invading army. He doesn't have enough forces to take out a entire might of the Jacoran army, but what he's playing at, he doesn't need numbers. He told me one of the last times we spoke that if he's successful, that this idea of invincibility and immortality is something that he can extend to all those in his thrall, all those under his control. And as such, I think he wishes to make all of Eredor amongst the living undead. So, in his mind, he wasn't sacrificing all of our living soldiers, knowing that eventually they would rise again and come back. And I was to stay here as long as it took to complete the ruse, which I unfortunately have followed my final orders, but didn't have the heart to harm any more of these soldiers than needed be, as they're not fighting for any of these higher causes. They're just children, those who are aimed at whatever the ones in charge are pointed at.
Is this plan of his taking place in Romont?
It's in Direwood Keep, yes.
Would you happen to know if there are any operational teleportation circles within Romont?
They were all destroyed, quite deliberately so. The only way I know in, aside from fighting your way through the undead army that waits if any of you should crawl out, is he sort of gestures to untie his hands.
I'd look back at to see if Karut or the commander are there.
Commander's just like,
Is Karut there?
yeah, Karut is also sort of standing over your shoulder listening.
Is he shaking his head?
What is it exactly that you want? I'm just going to untie you.
To be honest, how much harm can he do, even if he did intend to kill all of us? He hasn't got a weapon, and there's a lot of us here. It's not like he can run anywhere. Kendra
Fine.
really slowly reaches out to start tying him to see just how much of a fight the two people behind put up.
Fine. He's your responsibility. He just sort of stands there and crosses her arms.
Was wanted my own captain.
He sort of takes the rope off and rubs his wrists a little bit, and sort of
Betrayal.
unlooses the ties in his armor and kind of reaches in and pulls out this small talisman that looks like it's a carved shape of what looks like to be like a raven's skull or something like that. It's not an actual bone, but it is sort of carved to look like one of this sort of dark, almost obsidian-like stone. And he kind of pulls it out and tears it off. And it's on just a simple piece of leather cord and hands it up towards you.
I take it.
All right. I need you to make no. As you take it, I was given that. Taurin told me that the last moment I was to gather 5 whom I deemed my most loyal soldiers around me, and upon our defeat, it would activate and capture me and the 5 of them. And in the moment before death, before whatever takes you away after death, it would transport us back to the palace. And I imagine there we would wait until you're reborn. But it's the only way I know to get back there now without fighting through an army.
Well, that is. I gotta insight him at this point. And I gotta need a big old insight on this guy. I gotta see. Alright. See if he believes that he's telling the truth. Because that's step 1 for this. That's a big old 26.
Alright, he seems skeptical about kind of like going through all of the motions, but you get the sense that he very much believes that it will work. And that there's no doubt that it was given to him disingenuously. Whether or not any of that is true, he believes that whatever it is will work. You do get the sense, though, that he's not too keen on doing it or using it.
Understandably. To my knowledge, you know the mine we were told about that was a way into Romont? How far away is that?
Probably about. You have to go all the way up to the north, so probably about
Too far, probably.
500 feet.
3 days.
Yeah.
3 days to get there.
550.
Too long, too long. Okay. I think he's telling the truth, Karut, Commander. I don't know how much this helps us necessarily, but
Even if he is telling the truth, what are you... You're gonna die and have him take you there?
I got no idea.
God. Karut sort of paces back and forth. Tried to teach Taurin the teleportation spell years and years ago, but said it wouldn't be useful.
Okay, Karut, you might know about this better than me.
I assuredly do, yes.
Yes, most likely. Okay, so teleportation circles that are created on the ground. Okay, you know the spell where you can create a temporary teleportation circle.
Yes.
Is that 2 ways?
What do you mean?
Say that we had another teleportation circle that was permanent, and somebody went, say that this amulet thing works, and you don't get there, you don't immediately get double killed. Say that somebody were to go to the keep and create a temporary teleportation circle. could the permanent teleportation circle then be used to travel to the temporary teleportation circle?
It's definitely within the realm of possibility. Not entirely my specialty, but my understanding is that if you have a full understanding of the destination, especially if you're rooted there through some arcane means, such as the establishment of a circle yourself, then it should be fairly rudimentary to teleport between those 2 points, but it would have to be a proper circle in order to come up with any sort of reliable means. Otherwise, it's just sort of
So what kind of
throwing
circles?
a dart through a stable.
I missed 2 of the words you said. What kind of a circle?
Teleportation. That's what we're discussing.
Yes, that's not the word. I can create a temporary teleportation circle, and I know where there's a permanent teleportation circle. I'm just trying to offer ideas as to how we could get people there.
Well, seems like a viable hypothesis. Don't have much else to go on. He sort of turns back to Commander Corsays. And how long is it to ride from here to the keep itself? Assuming that there wasn't an army between us. On our fastest horses, perhaps a day if you rode them into the ground. Well, either way, I suppose we need to get out on top of this. Karut sort of turns back, and there's sort of like a group of guys just sitting there. They all kind of straighten up a little bit as Karut walks over. Why don't you go upstairs and figure out what the other 2 are up to and see if you can't help them. We don't want anyone getting trapped under rubble or anything. And the commander sort of goes off and starts giving other orders. And as they turn away, General Braxis kind of reaches up and not like grabs you like restrictively, but kind of like takes your arm for a second to get your attention, and kind of leans in closer towards you. You're not an enlisted part of the Empire, it doesn't seem.
No, I'm not.
And they pay you well?
They don't pay me at all.
Well, I've met a lot of people with death wishes, so you've picked a good location, I guess. There's one other thing that Magic Man makes me uncomfortable, and I'm not sure what he would read into this, but when last I was in the palace, which was about a week ago, before we repositioned here, I overheard him arguing with a woman. I'd never seen him before. Taurin is not one to disagree with anymore. And she walked in and with a boldness I can't really fathom or understand, basically told him that everything he was planning was incorrect, and that there was a fundamental flaw in what he was doing. She was clearly trying to bargain for something, and somehow, despite all of his rage, she managed to convince him that, this was the part that I overheard, that it wasn't something that was the key, it was someone. And that he wasn't trying to destroy both worlds, he was trying to bridge the gap and have them exist simultaneously together. She seemed convinced that she was right, and that she knew who that key was. That was the last I saw of her. But from then, everything was rapidly deployed and all these plans were set in motion.
What race was this woman?
She was human, I believe. Perhaps a half-elf. She had very long, unnaturally white hair.
Pretty sure I know who that might be, but I'm only pretty sure. Thank you, that's very helpful. I appreciate it. I believe you're, doing your best through all this, and I don't blame you for anything that's happened.
Well, you're a fool then.
Yes. Wait, I mean, no. A little bit.
Whatever you do, act quickly.
Yes.
If, from what I understand, is true, it's not only Taurin that will achieve this invincibility and immortality. That army of thousands of undead that wait not but half a mile from here will be nigh unkillable.
Thank you for the information. And Kendra goes.
Alright, what would y'all like to do?
I'm gonna start agonizing blasting at the wall that Kira was shoveling at.
Alright.
I'm upstairs with Taurin.
Some guys
Well,
in there.
I
No!
I just start killing
More
them all.
casualties.
And that's when I just start blasting.
Alright. As y'all dig outwards, those of you in the Wolseley-Roswell camp kind of find your way eventually out and up. It does sort of empty out into one sort of much smaller little cave thing, and then another path is sort of cut up so that you can ascend maybe about 20 feet or so, and then from there you can kind of crawl your way back out. As you do sort of pop up amongst the wreckage, it's still a lot of dust settling. Occasionally you can hear other small tumbling rocks down, and looking out, it looks like the keep itself is kind of the apex of this huge mound of rock and debris that goes, but it does kind of stretch for probably 400 or 500 feet as far as you can see. The collapse, you guys are kind of down towards that northern edge, and the once very sheer cliff faces have kind of eased out a bit, as it appears that all of those pieces have shorn off, and you can just see that what was the kind of plaza is all just covered with this very kind of treacherous, uneven, rocky debris and terrain.
I'm going to take a look at the other direction. What's the army of doom doing?
All right. Make a perception roll with disadvantage.
They're hiding?
Well, you're looking, it's all
No,
still dusty. So they are considered obscured.
Perception. And I'm going to click the word disadvantage.
Perception.
There we go. Click. There's a little delayed. 19 was my lower roll.
All right. So looking out, you don't see any. You can kind of
Like I have a stick, like I'm on a mast.
climb your way up. Everyone's just like, why is he moving like that? Looking out, you don't really see any movement of anything closer to the gate, so they definitely have not advanced. As you climb a bit higher, going through, you do kind of catch enough to see that sort of cleared open field area where that camp was initially when you first kind of climbed onto the wall. All of that seems to be empty. There is kind of a layer of thin sort of dust and debris there. So if the army is out there, they're kind of back and in sort of where the tree line is. They're not out in the open. But you don't like see a huge bulk of forces there.
Okay. All right. Well, Roswell, you think that stick of yours can clear off all this debris?
No. I mean, unless you want me to wake an earthquake, that's even worse.
Once everyone's clear, if the worst earthquake will bring it down to something they can walk over, then yeah.
I mean, you're talking like with wind?
I don't know how
Earth,
you make an earthquake
fire,
with wind,
heart.
but yes.
So we've got all this debris between us and the keep, right?
Past the keep, I understand.
Yeah, you guys have sort of climbed up, so you do see kind of where the top of the keep would be. Because I mean, it was only from where you surfaced. The keep is maybe only 50 feet away from you, because the whole thing is only so wide, right? So you can kind of point. And so the highest sort of collection of debris is over maybe about 50 feet, sort of south of you towards the other wall. But it does look buried. And then looking out, sort of out into the west there, which is where the army came. You, in your surveying out there, Walsley, with your perception roll, you do actually notice that there does look to be some, seems to be torch or lantern light off in the distance, and some movement. The lights are not stationary, so it seems like there's something happening out in that direction.
Like 1 mile away, or like
14
miles away, and I can
like a mile away. You wouldn't be able to see it if it's that far. There's only it's only maybe like 1.5 miles, 2 miles to the shore. So
understood.
You can't quite see all the way to the shore because the mountain kind of bends around a little bit, but
it looks like battle. It's like a furious kind of thing.
No, it looks like blights for an advancing troop movement or something like that.
All right, so we should clear out or try to extract who we can. But 2, we need to open up this pass in a way. So if you can make the rock fall further down, that would be great. Once everyone's clear. You understand what I'm saying?
You mean towards the lights we see? Towards the camp?
Yes, I would like to. All right, so he filled in the pass with rocks.
Yes.
On top of the keep. Everybody gets out of the keep safely, or we assume. If we keep shaking it, it'll eventually be down to the ground where it can be just walked across. Because we have an army waiting over here.
Sorry, I don't mean to be dense because I was just reading a spell. Sorry.
That's amazing.
Yeah. No. I mean, you're talking about
Roswell.
Listen, it takes a lot. All right. You're
Yes,
talking about our army over to the west or the enemy army over to the east?
I would like to clear the way for our army to get through this pass after all.
Okay.
If you can't do it, I understand. I was just asking.
Oh no, I know you are. I think I'm struggling with how this could work.
Well, you see this giant mess we have to walk across?
I understand this. How many? So, like, was this keep like 100 feet, like square, roughly, or this area? This
more or less, yeah.
More or less.
Just a thought. While you
I know your thought. I'm
ponder that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to crawl over to where the keep kind of peeks out from all the rubble and see if anybody's in the top part.
All right. Making your way over there. Those of you inside the keep do eventually hear the pitter patter of little feet on your hot tin roof.
I'll be yelling the whole time, survivors.
So you do
looking
hear,
for survivors.
You do hear Walsley calling out,
"Too much land, ho!"
Can I, from where Akira and I are sitting and Devred is having his little breakdown, is there like a window or something where I can look out and see?
there's the pathway that you got stuck in.
Oh, okay.
That's the way sort of up and out to the top.
Well,
It's maybe about 10 feet of just sort of crawling up before you can get out to the top of the debris.
Okay. I guess maybe it can, since we haven't said what we were doing and Kendra has had this entire conversation, can we have been like clearing out that area?
Yeah, easy enough. So
without crushing ourselves.
as you
Preferably.
sort of do, it does kind of cave in a couple of times, so it's slow work. But the soldiers that were sent up kind of start helping you, and you sort of fire brigade stones and such out of it. And as you hear some yelling coming out, recognizing Walsley's voice there, you kind of finish up clearing. And Walsley, you do see kind of a small tunnel emerge out, as it seems that those in the keep have dug themselves out.
Good. Then I will make sure that I give everybody I can a hand as they crawl up and out.
Is Roswell okay? Is she with you?
Yes, she's right over there, pondering the weight of
She's
the destiny that's been thrust upon her giant stick of doom. I don't know how to say
Right.
it better.
these boulders, are they large? Would they be considered a large?
Some of the boulders
large.
are gargantuan, so
No,
they
it's a
range
medium.
they range from like small to gargantuan.
Yeah, no, I can't do this.
In
My wind
size.
would only have the strength to take like medium or small things. So like if we're looking to clear out like the huge part of the pass, like it's not gonna work.
So are you all kind of rendezvousing out up
No, it would not do that. Sorry.
on the top area?
Yeah, definitely trying to get all of us together. Can I see from where we are on top, where I made that passageway through? Is Kendra coming out? You didn't blast that out, or you did?
I mean, Kendra made some progress, and they're digging,
But I can't see it.
You are sort of digging sideways through about 150, 200 feet of just caved-in stone, so it'll take a while before that goes anywhere.
Okay.
Indra wrongly assumes that Akira had chosen the smartest way to get through to the others, and
Really?
she's been
Me?
going at it since. Clearly, she puts a lot of faith in you, Akira, considering all those books you read.
I don't know how to dig my. Anyway, we're not having this conversation. We're not together.
All right. So, as you all sort of convene up top, or those of you that do, several more of the troops follow up, and Commander Corsace eventually comes up with Karut along as well, and you, after half an hour or so, the dust is starting to settle more and more, and you can see that those lights that were coming from the western shore are growing more and more near, and everyone's just sort of looking out in both directions, surveying, and then interesting sound sort of echoes and reverberates through this sort of two walls of the cavern, and it's something that is oddly familiar. You hear the sound of a war horn,
What?
echoing and reverberating through as troops slowly get closer and closer. And all of you do recognize the familiar sound of a horn of the Order of Heronius.
No, Marius.
Who?
He was a really cool guy. We talk about him a lot. How do you not know this name?
I'm covered in dust right now. I didn't
It's interfering with my hearing.
know about his horn.
Well, I know, but it's okay. Oh, that's very exciting.
So glad they made it.
Wait a minute. We're not. Are we all together right now?
No.
No, Kinder's still shooting Eldritch Blasts at rocks.
Still just
Okay.
waiting for someone to come tell me that it's the wrong direction.
Are you digging down?
down.
You're like, gotta get through the earth.
I'm like
All right,
just screaming.
I dug a circular
"Roswell!"
tunnel from this exterior door to this other exterior door. What would you like me to do now?
Not seeing Kendra here.
Hey, use your extra vocal voice there, Roswell.
Hello.
Oh fuck.
I use thaumaturgy.
To do what?
I don't know what I was reading spells again. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to problem solve.
I don't know what it is today, but I don't seem to be able to engage with you at all. Every time I look at you, you glaze over.
Listen, my brain is a permanent chalkboard with math equations on it right now. I use thaumaturgy to call to our allies.
Kendra's missing.
What are you saying? Are you're trying to get Kendra?
Well, if she's the only one that's not with us, yeah,
Call a
absolutely.
locksmith.
Roswell, I'm coming. As I start Eldritch blasting harder. Wait, turn around.
You're going the wrong way.
One of the last sort of soldiers who hasn't climbed up just sort of like puts his hand on your shoulder. It's time to go.
That's my next character, that guy.
I start blowing on a whistle.
If she's not here though, I'll work my way back down.
All right, let's just
Into-
say that you can get Kendra, and
Okay.
all of you reconvene on top. Kendra with various new pieces of jewelry.
I'm just gonna edge you and edgier.
Yeah.
First it was the snake tattoos. Now it's like a raven skull.
Interesting aesthetic
Next,
choice.
black and red dyed
branching
hair.
out.
Well,
Look,
it's even
listen,
more.
I think I-
Cruella, knock it off.
I probably have some like black eyeliner in my bag.
Listen here, Tebrin. What if I told you that I've got an amulet that will teleport us to Romont?
What?
I would say that'd be very interesting information.
Right.
Do you
Okay,
have
well,
an amulet that can
well, hold-
teleport us to Romont?
Yes, but hold on. Don't get too excited. We have to die.
Great.
What? Hold on a second.
Okay, so
That
do you
does seem
remember?
like it somewhat defeats
Actually,
the purpose.
you wouldn't remember Tebrin because you didn't exist back then. Roswell.
I've-
I guess it's just
I'm
Roswell.
80 years older than you.
Right, but I don't have any. If I can't see something, it doesn't exist.
We need to work
Roswell,
on your object.
good to see you
purposes.
existing again. So do you remember back when we were in that council chamber and there was that general guy?
Oh yeah, remember when I had to like tell the truth against all odds, and that was really awkward in there? Yeah.
I remember it as being one of those awkward times where you were talking to people that weren't us. Yes.
That happens all the time.
Yeah, it's better. It's you got to work on that. Well, he was a prisoner that was captured. He was that general guy that was leading his soldiers. So he doesn't really like the whole lich thing any more than anybody else. But you can't really say no to a lich. And also he wanted to help his people, but they didn't get helped.
What people were left for him to help?
The ones we killed.
He's a truly stupid man.
Well, there was all those people. Remember in the square that he was leading?
Yeah.
Those were like citizens, right?
Mm-hmm.
That were forced into the armies that he wanted to try and keep safe, but then we
Okay.
killed them. Look.
So
Are you coming to a point here? Or no?
Well, the point I'm coming to is that he gave me this amulet, and we talked a bit. He gave me this amulet. He told me that Taurin didn't want to kill everybody. He just wanted to waste as much time as possible so we could get his plan to go through. A plan that was given to him by a woman that is human, maybe half elf, with long white hair. It was basically not what you need to find, but who you need to find, which is probably your sister. So we should get to Romont.
Sorry, do we need to like just let's just take a look at me for a quick second. Which part of me looks human?
No,
The
I mean the
feet.
thing
Your
that
butt.
she needs to find, the person that Taurin was told to find by the human with white hair, is the sister. Do you understand? Taurin was told to find someone, not something, and that something was probably your sister.
Okay.
But did he say drow?
What? What does that have to do with it?
Tempered
The
sisters?
person telling Taurin is
It's
not
not the
the
same.
sister. Yes, they're two different things.
Okay,
Two
well,
different
then who's the
people.
person?
Probably the dragon.
You guys aren't
dragon
aware of
lady.
this, but this is the final encounter.
Probably
Can I-
the probably the dragon lady. You know.
Oh, did
that
Ophix have white
delivered.
hair?
I don't
Oh,
remember.
she did. She had like platinum blonde.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Probably Ophix.
Can I see this amulet you're talking about?
It's right here. It looks great. Just
I
right here.
can I just identify it like? Or
Don't
something?
chop it with your sword.
Imbalance.
Yes, you can identify it, but be gentle.
All
It looks
right.
Great on me.
I'll be gentle. Can I 10-minute ritual cast?
Kendra's not
Identify.
standing there for 10 minutes. Kendra just sort of stands there like really awkwardly as you
All
just like hand
Now
on the
you can
amulet.
slow down and retell this tale that you're talking about. I don't know. It's fast
Okay,
talking.
while you guys do this, I'm gonna maybe help the general recombine the armies or something.
Yeah, it looks like the whatever forces are left, and there are several other like little pockets of people that seem to have survived, but it's like maybe 150 to 200 people, not the hundreds that were in there before. And they are kind of slowly making their way down, and where possible, they seem to be trying to like make it so that you can walk up and over all of this, sort of like caving in select section, not like the whole thing, but just sort of smoothing out certain things so that it's passable, and basically working their way back down to whatever this force is that's slowly approaching. You're guessing we'll be here in probably like half an hour or so.
I'll assist with them because
Every
Yes, I
hand
can.
will help. All right, ritual casting can complete. So School of Magic is Conjuration, and this device,
brings the lich to us.
this device transports unconscious, incapacitated creatures to a predetermined destination. Up to 6 creatures.
Incapacitated, huh?
All right.
You guys have the feign death spell.
Nope.
Nope.
We were talking about that one.
Yep.
Nope. But we could knock each other out.
So
I guess.
So here's some options, right? We could knock each other out. We could be banished, which makes you incapacitated while you're banished.
In another dimension. Another
Well,
dimension.
that shouldn't
another
affect it,
dimension.
right?
Another dimension.
So it is. I don't have the succinct mechanics definition, but you do have to be at 0 hit points.
Okay.
And the person who's like holding it and using it declares which people will go, and then once they've declared the people that they want it to be used for, it triggers when they drop to 0 hit points.
Okay, so only the person holding it needs to drop.
No,
Or everyone needs to drop.
everyone needs to, but the person who's holding it, it triggers when they go to 0 hit points.
So can we play dead for an hour? Oh. If we cast feign death on people and activate it at 55 minutes, and then
Does feign death put you at 0 hit points?
yes.
But the
But
problem
it only
is
lasts for an hour.
But the problem is we don't have a way of casting that spell.
Right. Not right now.
I mean, the other problem is what happens on the other end.
Well, hold on really quick. What school of magic is feign death?
Necromancy.
I mean, sorry, not school of magic. Who gets feign death, class-wise? Bard,
Clerics.
cleric, druid, wizard. It's a what level spell?
3rd. It's also a
Third, there's gonna be at least somebody alive here that's got feign death as a spell from the Heronius people, from any of the wizards that may or may not survive from the school, from the
Except that
Primrose.
who would have gone into this with that prepared?
Well, I don't know.
Somebody who is a coward. That's who. They'll never find me if I'm dead.
If I look
So,
dead.
so hold on, we have a
We're
Yeah, but-
gonna lose bad, so I better
don't
be
think you
prepared.
can cast it on yourself though. You
They
touch
have
it.
to-
Well,
they have to cast it on us, not themselves.
I know, but the last person to hold it would need it. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. One thing I'm not clear with this spell. Hang on, I'm just gonna just put the spell card in there. Is when it's over, do you revert back to your normal? So it says, for the spell's duration, until you use an action to touch the target and dismiss the spell, target appears dead. The target and its incapacitated speed drops to 0.
It doesn't say anything about
Doesn't-
0 hit points, to be
Right,
fair.
it doesn't. So that. Might
But
not
it does
be-
So-
say it does say to all spells used to. Sorry about that. I had a magic overload in my face.
I had one earlier.
Yeah. To all spells used to determine the target's status. It does specify that.
Right, it should fool it. However, I don't like that duration part.
Well,
Also, I
well,
really
the person-
can't overemphasize this.
the person that cast it, do they need to be next to us to dispel it?
Yeah.
There is no dispel.
Yeah,
Okay.
it says
Yeah, there is.
Okay.
it says
All right. While all of you are pondering this, why don't we take our 5-minute break, and you can all come back with your stellar plan.
This is the worst possible idea. I get
know
that
what?
it is probably our only choice, but the idea of being like, oh yeah, let's just fucking catapult ourselves into the castle. Also, all of us are gonna be unconscious. This is the worst idea.
but but
It's
Taurin's
like,
not
sure,
currently in.
I would love to like just run up and be next to this lich. Also, I'm asleep.
If-
But he's
but
not
if-
currently in the
Right.
the house or
One,
whatever, keep
we
or
don't
whatever.
have this.
We don't know that.
2,
He wasn't. It's been a hot second.
if we were to do it, we could do it, like have someone cast it on us, but not have the amulet activated until minute 59.
Well, how would you do that?
Yeah, as soon as you go down, it activates.
If the
So you-
if you're
so what?
holding
Hold
the
on, hold
amulet,
on, hold
somebody
on.
can put the amulet in our hands.
No, I don't think
Oh,
that's how it
never.
works. So this is how you would have to do it, right? I think the way that you would have to do it is
5-minute break, right?
yeah, 5-minute break.
I mean, I left the stream going because you're still talking, but this is eating into your break time. Yeah.
Oh, you gotta pee.
I got
I
to
have to. I also have to.
Okay.
It's like
We'll be
having
back
a-
in 5 minutes.
So
Okay.
anybody that isn't gonna go,
Nope, I gotta go.
Well, I'm gonna adjust my webcam, but I'm still gonna be here because
Okay.
don't
Holly, it's
start
obvious
it yet.
why.
I already
He's
started
covered
it.
in
Okay,
oil.
thanks. I really appreciate your
We're back, everybody. Dora has been diligently
cooperation
trying
in
to
this matter.
fix how to focus the party is.
Unfixable.
Cool. Unfixable is right. Speaking of unfixable, what have we decided?
I don't
We would
know.
like to bungle our way through the rest of this, please.
We didn't decide anything because everybody left for the full 5 minutes.
Okay, good.
You had to pee.
Yeah,
For 5 minutes?
I went with the Anon plan. This is the way I'm gonna get through this.
Okay, so, alright. Here are our choices. And these choices have been confirmed.
Do you need me
One.
to count? One.
Yes.
Okay.
Please do. I will lose track. 1. We die or fake die in order to get into Romont. 2.
That's my
We
personal
burst
favorite.
through an army of thousands of undead to get to the fort. Actually, there's a third choice. I need your third finger up for this. We all stay here. Taurin makes everything immortal, and then we go. Don't like that one.
We were told Taurin was directly at the head of this army, so he's in our locale right now.
Yeah.
At
It
least,
was.
at
I
least
was like, it sounded worse.
feasibly, he could be in our locale if we choose to face him here. I don't know what happens in the castle. How do we know this goes back to the castle? Maybe it goes back to the cemetery where they're going to bury him and get back to you when he has the rounds. He could be like, every month I go down to the cemetery and raise my dead ones back into the undead. Like, I don't.
It's on my calendar.
It's true that we have no idea where it could go.
We we need to go to oh, sorry, Direward Castle. Yeah, right outside Romont.
Yeah. Yeah. He did say. Well, he believes it takes it back to Dire Castle, Mont Castle.
Maybe we should talk to Karuk.
That sounds unreasonable. Let's go talk to Karuk. Where's Karuk?
Who said that? Wait a minute. That doesn't track.
Because they're in love.
Kroot
No.
seems to be taking time to converse with the other remaining mages. Out of the 10, it seems like there's 4 of them left.
Oof.
All right, Karuk. We have a thing, but we have a problem with this thing.
Are you talking about the amulet?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm up to speed.
Okay.
What do you think?
Great.
Is
Like,
there,
I
is there a
had-
question coming as this?
Yeah, sure. All right.
Akira?
So we have this idea that we could use feign death to use this thing because you have to be dead, right? Blah. Huh. But we have no way of using that spell. Like none of us have that prepared. Blah blah blah. Words?
Do you know of anybody that has that in our current location?
The ability to feign death.
Yes.
Sort of looks back, and the mages are sort of all shaking their heads. Not something we're particularly trained in. Perhaps with the rendezvousing forces, there's a large contingent of paladins and such coming. Perhaps they you'd have better luck with them.
And on the other side of this, go on, Wolseley.
How does this thing know where to go?
The amulet?
Yeah.
Well, I imagine that at its process of being created, it's bound with a target location.
So Akira did her thing where she knows about it. Does she now know that location?
I don't know. That would be a question for Akira.
Akira.
I didn't immediately get that information, so I assume no.
But if
It just said
you
target
thought about
location.
it really hard.
I thought about it. I'm thinking about it really hard.
So as part of understanding how it would work, you would know that it goes back to its bound target location.
But I don't know what that location is.
You know, in the general sense that it is in Darwood Palace, is what it said.
All right, it's somewhere over there.
Is there another item somebody might have that can get us there without all the bad parts?
I mean, in the grand scheme of all that's magical, sure.
Available. Clearly, I'm talking about available.
Well, all the teleportation circles have been destroyed, according to our sources. And that seems consistent with what we've been able
Wouldn't
to
this thing need one, though?
Not
No.
if it's bound. There are ways to teleport, although teleportation without a familiar known end destination can be somewhat risky. It is entirely
Whole
possible.
war's a risk.
I mean, he sort of looks back. I myself have never been to Direwood, nor do I have any items from there.
Can you scry through this thing?
We do have one item from Dyewood,
Yeah, the skull.
the amulet. I don't know how much that would help.
Well, I mean, if whomever owns the amulet is there and you use it for scrying, you could teleport theoretically to the owner of the amulet itself, which I would guess is likely Taurin.
Like a fucking interdimensional death squad. We just walk out, surprise, Torrent.
So you can't put some sort of alien hack on this thing where we could just use it, huh?
I'm afraid not. It's not the way the rules of magic work, unfortunately.
Okay, so, alright, this is words. Taurin is not at Dyewood Keep. If we do this fast, we can be back at Dyewood Keep before he's there, which means that we can
How
put
do
a
you
stop to what he's
know
doing.
where Taurin is?
Wasn't Taurin at the front of the army?
He can teleport too.
Hours
I mean,
ago.
Shittily shit.
We've been trapped there for a while.
I mean, it is possible he's still standing there waiting, but that doesn't seem like...
No, I assume he'll be
Taurin to
going back,
me.
but he wouldn't be back there yet, right?
We have no way of knowing that.
Well,
It's
anyway.
true that we have no way of knowing that.
Our time is short regardless, especially if the information is true. Whatever we do, we need to make it to the castle in no more than a day's time, it sounds like. And even that might be pushing it.
If we sent someone we know through the amulet, could you then teleport the rest of us there?
They would be a sufficient anchor, yes, but they would also
Well, we
be
have plenty of people
alone
at 0 hit
for us.
points.
I think it has to be captured more or less in the moment of the passing. If they're already gone, you might be able to send them, but they're not going to wake up on the other side.
Therefore, can't relay the information that we need to us.
Right. If you throw a dead body out the window, the body is still dead and can't tell you that the window is still open.
You know what, crew? I gotta write that down. That was a good one.
Oh, was it?
We
That's
learned that
terrible.
in entry-level transposition. What? It's very common. The philosophical problems associated with teleporting dead things.
It's like the trolley problem. It's the dead body problem. It's still not going to tell you anything later.
Right.
Okay.
What if we send somebody that's already dead but not dead? Isn't the teen girl sort of
I don't know if it's quite like that.
not alive?
What do you mean dead and not dead?
Something like it was undead.
She's kind of. No, she's not kind. She's technically, according to my
Look, when that one light shined on her, she was.
She's undead.
Well, I feel like that was information that might have been useful to share.
Well, I was going to, but hey, there was this battle, and we thought we were going to get together, and now it's relevant. So I'm
So
sorry.
you're saying we send the... He sort of like looks around to see if she's around. The undead teenage girl who's the only rightful heir to this country into the palace of somebody who would like nothing more than to end her life forever, alone and unconscious.
No, well, she's not
Wait.
Look,
I
we're
have to
clearly
make
still
her
in the brainstorming stages of this class.
unconscious.
Based on what we know, it requires somebody to be either fooled into thinking they're dead, or at 0 hit points. What's that in people talk? 0 awakeness points.
Dying.
Death. They must be dying. I don't know if undead counts necessarily as dying. I think they're like distinct things, right? Like,
I really don't
Yeah.
know.
Can we get back to this, like, so, can we teleport at least closer to the castle? Haven't you been somewhere around there? I mean, Kendra, you've been somewhere close.
I can't teleport. You do a teleportation circle. It's like teleport junior.
Well, I don't know these things.
Little
I don't...
baby's first teleport.
But, you know, were you ever here before? Can we get at least closer? You might not have been in the castle, not to Karut. I'm saying this. Could we?
All right.
So, sorry to stomp on your collective parades, but getting closer doesn't quite cut it when we know that there's a massive protective arcane barrier around the entire keep.
I will volunteer. They don't know me. Wait 1 hour and then use your magic to teleport to me.
We still don't have feign death.
Wait, what?
We still
Really?
we still don't have this spell. That's the crux of this problem too.
Well, send messengers. Talk to those
Will you
holier
go
than
check
thou
to
night
see if
people.
anyone has this capability? Ride out or run out to the forces if you have to. The other
To be
mages
perfectly honest
sort
with
of
you,
disperse.
if one person's going to go, why don't we all just go?
Because if they do bad things to me, you won't be able to teleport to me in an hour. If I survive, though, it will be safe, and therefore the best way forward.
Well, I mean, yes, but also no. Okay, alright. So, if there's people there that can do bad things, it would probably be good if we could all do bad things back to the people doing bad things, right?
No, I will just be unconscious for an hour.
Well,
and if I
hold on.
survive past that, you'll know it's fine.
So what if all of us here, we were all feigned death except for me, and I had the amulet. And then, after 58 minutes of being feigned death, somebody just like socks me in the jaw, and I go proper unconscious, but in a they didn't want to try to kill me, they were just trying to knock me out. Then after 2 minutes, you guys would wake up, or a minute, or 30 seconds, however long, and then you could wake me up with some, that juicy, good healing magic. And then all of us are awake, we're all in the keep, we teleport our friends, and then I start blasting.
You know exactly when you'd be rendered unconscious, because sometimes it takes a bunch of pops.
I hope not. I hope it's just one big pop, to be honest with you.
You guys know the magic. I was volunteering. If that doesn't work, we'll do it your way. Whatever.
I mean, what do we think?
I volunteer to knock you unconscious.
I was gonna volunteer you too, Karut.
Can it not?
Where's
offense, but
Tifriel
she-
when all this is happening?
Somebody else probably
She's
wants
still
to
at
get
the arch
punching
downstairs.
Kindred line.
You do not see Tifriel.
I want to go look for her.
All right, make a perception check.
Okay. I got a 23.
All right. Looking around, you finally head sort of more in the direction towards Eredor proper, not like sort of back there. And you can see sort of on the edge of the rubble before it sort of drops off back down to the ground, Tifril is just sort of sitting there, like folded in front of her, crisscross applesauce. And just kind of staring, looking out, not like meditatively, but just kind of pensively looking out, surveying over kind of this dark, hazy landscape out there.
So, we're trying to figure out a way to get in the castle, and it kind of involves a lot of us dying and then getting in because there's this amulet that does this thing. And it sounds really weird.
Sounds like a terrible plan.
It really does. And you know what's funny? None of us even have the spell prepared to do this. So, like, we're just kind of talking about this. And
I mean, why don't you prepare it?
I have to sleep. I have to rest.
We could sleep before this. Wait, you're not here? I'm not with you, don't worry.
You're not with me.
I'm not.
I mean,
I'm just begging for sleep from people.
Frankly,
generally.
I'm exhausted.
I am too. Just that, you know, time is of the essence. So, maybe we can pull it off. Do you have, like, super fast speed? Can I, like, ride on your back and you can, like, run like a wolf? I'm trying to... I'm kidding. I know that's not a thing.
I mean, there are definitely animals that could carry us at speed.
Do you know of any handy right now?
It's not much alive. I can't feel almost anything out there.
How many plants we could walk through, do you?
She sort of like looks around at all the pile of rubble all around.
Well, I mean, like if we were gonna like find a something, I don't know.
I mean, I don't think there's too many trees growing in the castle.
That's true.
So what is this terrible idea you have?
Well, there's this amulet that if you're dead, it can take you right into the castle. And it can take 6 of us, but we have to be dead to make it happen. So there's a spell called Feign Death that I've heard about. I've never used it before, but I think I could probably do it if I thought about it for a while and prayed on it. And it would make us appear as if we were dead and get there, but it's going to be complicated, and we need to...
I don't see why it has to be complicated. Why don't you just do exactly what you said?
I can in maybe 8 hours. So... You think this sounds good?
Well, no, it sounds terrible, but, I mean, what our other option is to ride out into the misty unknown here and hope that we somehow make it through, and then that we can get through the streets of Romont unscathed.
Yeah. Misty Unknown was the name of my band in high school. Anyway, sorry. Okay, well, I guess that does make sense. I think I just needed to hear it from someone else, because sometimes, you know, like when your friends talk in a circle, and you've all...
It's not something I found that's true to all friends, just yours.
You know, here's the thing. I think if we, like, had a normal life, we would probably be like... But we constantly have to make these terrible decisions. And, it's bound to make any logic questionable. Okay. Do you want to...
It is Is Karut going with you?
So that's the thing. We can only take 6 people with this thing. If you were to come with us, you'd be our 6th. Karut might need to. I think it's smarter to have you go with us. It takes 5 people.
5 and the person holding it. So it would be all of us,
Yeah,
or we would
so
have to leave somebody behind.
So 6 people total.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly what
So,
she said.
yeah. Right, but you made it sound like she would be the 6th, right? As in, like, on top of us. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm making the distinction that it's
We're all
not 6
agreeing.
plus the whole. We're all in agreement here.
Before
Yeah.
we descend into
Yeah, I'm just checking.
chaos.
We agree.
But what we're
What is
saying
going
is,
on?
But why male
Why male
models?
So he might do better with the forces out here and some protection and whatnot.
I would
And he's
very
a
much like
coward.
for him to
You would come with.
survive all of this. And I fear that going in there is pretty poor chances.
Sure is. But we have to go through.
Back at sort of not at the end up there, Karut sort of comes up to the rest of you that are gathered there. Please tell me you're not planning on taking Tifrael in there with you.
Why not?
You realize that she's the sole heiress to all of Arador.
Well, I think you should take her in there, along with everybody else. But she shouldn't go this way. We need to go this way. Who would we leave?
If Taurin gets a chance, he will kill her.
I mean, if he gets a chance, he'll kill all of us, to be fair. And if he kills all of us, then he's going to kill everybody else anyway.
But isn't the prophecy that she's the one who can destroy him?
There is that prophecy.
I've heard a lot of prophecies.
Well, think about this one. I know you've heard of it. You know her very well. So you have to have known about it.
But doesn't the prophecy regarding Arador also say that only one of these families can rule? If she dies, there's only one remaining family, and that's Taurin's.
But, okay, so say that she's dead and he's dead. The land can't be ruled? I don't understand.
I imagine it would become a territory of the Dracoran Empire.
Well, not that I like the Dracoran Empire or whatever, but it's better than being, like, Taurin land.
where's the general?
I would
not a secret.
There is also the question. I mean, we are getting a little bit ahead of ourselves here, considering Entebra gestures around at the wrecked keep and the tiny little remnant of the Dracoran army that is currently in there with them. We are a couple of steps away from this. But it's also worth keeping in mind that Tifrael may not want to rule. If we all come through this and see victory on the other side with Taurin dead, I think that it is possible that Tifrael is tired of fighting, and that I'm just saying that there are some things that break and then they either don't get fixed or they can never get fixed back to the way they were before.
She's very young.
I am very certain that
Should we win first, maybe?
yes, I think we should win first, maybe. So what are we going to do about that? I think we should all go, and then we should try and teleport everybody else in, if possible, via scrying link or teleportation
Stone.
destination travel circle.
Is there something in the castle? Are there protections in the castle that will prevent that?
Most
Possibly.
likely.
Okay.
So,
So that
We've been
seems like a
unable
bad
to-
plan.
We've been unable
But-
to scry even into Romont itself, never mind the castle.
Well, so then, yes, we'll have to go. So I guess it's just us again.
No,
The gang is back together.
you can make a circle. I bet the protection's only coming in. They wouldn't not let themselves scry out. You could get a circle to these guys.
Right. But I thought what he was saying extended to, could you teleport in?
We haven't tried.
Right.
It's not something
mean,
we would just
I
randomly
can
try.
I can create a circle.
If we had a
it's
body, we
very
could try to send it through.
I can create a circle, but it's very short term. I could create it again, but we don't want to be dropping too many spells.
All right.
Oh,
I think that this amulet hell plan, which is terrible by the way, and I hate absolutely every element of
I
it,
think it's great.
is probably our only option. I think. And Shepard is like, as he's doing, is like slanting a very reluctant glance over at Crew, and she's like, I think we have to take Tifriel with us if we have any hope of being able to come out on the other side with the hope of victory.
So
I
who are we leaving
also
behind?
Why did
think
we
that she wants to
smuggle
come
out
with
the
us.
staff from the Empire for you, not to use it?
Tebrin, who are we leaving behind?
We can take 6 people.
Okay. So who are we leaving? Okay, for some reason I thought
Why
I've got to be
models?
honest with you. I've got to be honest with you. This whole time I've been counting just a great god in the sky, because it's 3:17 in here in the Jadewood morning. Jesus Christ. Wait, no, we still can't take her because Bim has to come.
no! Fucking Bim!
Can't go on without Bim.
I just
I've
feel
been
like
counting Casey this
nice.
whole time. It's like, if Casey can't come, how will we have a DM?
How will anything happen if the GM's not there? I am heartwarmed that I would need to do that, but I am already there and here. But how will we get chatting?
Chat has to be our 6th person.
They're the audience.
Oh
They can
god.
just join the room after.
Yeah, they're gonna leave and come back. It's gonna refresh the location. All right, what are you guys doing?
Okay, let's
I
all go
think
to
we-
bed. Let's take
Yes.
Tifriel with
All
us.
right, next session.
Let's I think a cleric or the clerics should prepare feign death, but we should also go and talk to the people from the Nemerius Guild of
Erroneous.
Friends, Heronii. We should find out if they have it first, because I don't think it would cost a lot for you, I say pointing at Akira, to just, feign death everybody.
It is a
Um,
ritual, which is nice. You could do it as a ritual.
Oh, but then everybody would be, okay, so we could all, so
it would be
you two
staggered,
could,
but
it would be staggered. So if you two ritualed each other
I think we both
exactly
need to
the same
take it.
time. Yeah, so if you two were ritualed as somebody cast it on you right after, so there'll only be like a second or two gap, this is all very...
I really like the plan where you got beat unconscious.
I really like the plan where I
Oh, sorry.
fired you out of a cannon into the moon.
Sounds
Take
good.
that.
What would you guys like to do?
We're gonna go find
Let's get this
Erroneous people to find out if they have feign death.
Right. I still would love to take a sleep.
We're gonna take a sleep at some point, but find that first.
Yeah. The erroneous people, we need to get them through.
All right.
We don't have to find it if you could take a sleep. We can prepare it.
Right, but okay, but so if we find out that they have it, there's less of a stagger
The
because there's less
information
ritual casting.
that is brought back to you over the period of a couple of hours as that army kind of now finally arrives here, probably another 1,000 or so strong, but spread out between there and like the coastline, and they're ferrying over more troops sort of as it goes, but it's a long process. It's not really a erroneous and gallant paladin type repertoire spell. They don't really have any need for pretending they're dead.
They don't really dabble in necromancy too much.
Okay, so when we're doing this, we basically have to stagger this, right? And then one of you has like cast it on yourself properly.
Is this? I mean,
Put it in the ring.
Yeah, one sec.
Yeah, we could put it in the ring. The problem is that you have to put it in the ring.
Yes, that is a problem.
No, I'm just.
so when a spell says you touch a willing creature, does that mean you could do it to yourself? Okay.
You can
Then
touch yourself.
I don't want anyone.
We can only put one of them in the ring.
I'm gonna try to cast it.
I don't think we need to do that.
Yeah, I don't think we need to either. But we should put a spell in the ring
All
where
right,
you go to
please prepare your spells for the next day. A long rest is achievable
Oh,
if you would like it.
yes,
Yes.
please.
This is going to be like a puzzle to work out how to properly feign death is all there.
Oswald, just to be clear, you did get the inspiration I gifted you at the beginning, yes?
Oh, thank you. I didn't know if that was going to be permanent or if you wanted to wait.
No, I did that right away, assuming that we might need to cast Dispel Magic again. I'm not going to backpedal just because it's convenient.
Okay.
Besides, I don't really need it. You have saving throws and stuff that you have to do that are much more pertinent. Anyway, long rest, you said.
Wow, is this like a milestone?
It feels like
Yeah, you guys regress one level.
Damn it.
And I've
That's a
removed
collab-
feign death from your spell list.
that's a kilometer stone. It's not as good.
Yeah.
You lose a little ground.
It's great. In Europe, they're all the rage, though. You get a debility score increase.
Debilitation.
You minus to your stats.
Oh man, I lose all the extra hit points from heroism. Oh, that was a good one to have. I know I'd like that again. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
That was a... No, never mind.
Or was it?
That was from aid.
Aid,
yeah.
It was heroic though, so. Yes, yes.
No pressure. This is the last time you'll ever prepare spells in this campaign,
Yep,
potentially.
Jesus Christ, Casey.
don't make me
Oh.
cry.
Wait, we need some more tension music, I think. Actually, this is pretty good.
So theoretically, if we're ritual casting, people are going to be staggered anyway. Maybe only one of you needs feign death.
No, we can both do it. It's fine.
I'm just thinking like,
Because it speeds it up.
yes.
Wait, it's feign death affects one person, so we have to do it 6 times.
Yeah, that's why.
That's a, but we
It's
still
only
have to
third
wait.
level. We're like, that's fine.
Oh, what do I want for my last spell? Fuck. Sorry.
Feign death.
I know. But I
Just
took
take it
out one
again.
I didn't need.
Bum, 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 bum.
It is a
I
long
had-
but restless sleep.
Oh no, I didn't get a long rest.
Good times. Did you decide who you're taking with you?
Um,
Will you risk the sole heir of Eredor for a slightly better chance at winning?
Yes,
Or
we
will you take the more seasoned arcane minds who may be able to decipher Taurin's tricks and traps?
That would be a nice way for the DM to give us hints throughout. No, that's out. Ba, 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 ba.
All right, long rests are only 8 hours long, just so you guys
Do you
know.
have did you take anti-magic field?
I did, yes.
Okay.
I don't know, folks. How are we feeling about?
I think I'm gonna.
I
vote
think I'm-
Root.
But then how will Tifrael get here, or is she just not coming at all?
All right, out of character, this is a game with players. If the NPC wins the game, that's going to be vexing.
There's a reason that I've limited it so that you can't bring every NPC with you.
Don't win it as players. Come on.
I think there's arguments for either one.
I mean, you don't have to take an extra person at all either.
Well, that's just silly.
You don't have to take weapons or armor either.
We'll
Could
take
you make-
them.
And to like, wait, can we do the whole wait an hour then trigger it thing, or is it? Do we all go
you tell
there?
me.
do that.
But if you screw it
hold
up,
on.
some of you may not be going.
Okay,
No
so hold
pressure.
on. To do this, the trigger is all 6 people being unconscious, right? So that means that you can wait an hour.
The trigger is the holder of the amulet becoming unconscious.
Oh, I
Right.
asked you that specifically, and you said that the other people had to be.
Everybody, we also have to be unconscious.
The
but
people
the trigger
you're-
for it is.
It will only take other unconscious
Okay,
people.
all right, no, okay, yeah, okay.
No,
but
but like if one of us feign death everyone, and the person holding the amulet is the last person to feign death themselves, and you wait until the hour's almost up, then that means that
Somebody's down for an
the
hour.
other
Yeah.
cleric can get the
If
last
I were
person.
you, I would do a cleric first, and then have the cleric be
Right.
the last one to trigger it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what
Because
I'm
I've
trying
already
to say.
thought about this.
That's what I'm trying to say though. So okay, that's the way we're doing it though. I'm trying to clarify with all of you, like that's the way it's gonna
Clarify.
I'm literally just sitting here waiting for somebody to knock me unconscious.
wait, so you said what a cleric
Yes,
should be
but
the
in
first person.
character.
One cleric should be first.
I'll be right back, guys.
Also in character should be last.
So one cleric should be the first person to be feign death, correct?
Please don't knock your roommate unconscious.
Yes.
Okay, so one of the clerics doesn't need feign death.
Well, we both need to take feign death for this.
No, we don't. If
No.
the cler- Hang
If a
on.
cleric
To
feign death-
dispel
But
feign
why
death,
male
don't you-
models?
No, no.
Because the last person that goes is the hour's not gonna take effect.
We're going to let that person get physically damaged, and when they get on the other side, they're going to be healed.
No, they can cast it on themselves at the end. And so the
Or
first, if the
dispelled,
cleric
sure.
is the first one to be feigned death on, they will wake up first. Therefore, can heal everybody else. You know.
I don't. Does feign death put you like? Hold on. Do
Let's
you
not let this be a
regain
stopping
HP,
point.
Feign death.
I'm not gonna
yeah,
screw you over if it's like a little messed up here or there. Just tell me who's going and in what order you're.
We can't, Casey.
But the way that I
Like, you don't need to figure it out down to the minute. Just tell me who's going, and if you're planning on staggering it, that's fine. Just tell me the order in which you're staggering it.
Okay, so let's give Roswell the amulet. Let's feign death Holly first, and then leave Akira behind.
Holly in real life.
Yeah. We'll feign death
No,
Akira.
I should go first because I can give people max hit points if needed.
I
Okay,
agree,
good.
but I'm terrified of giving Akira the amulet.
because I guess I'm not
Okay, all right,
understanding what
It
you
doesn't
guys-
matter. It doesn't
Okay.
matter.
So whichever cleric is getting feign death first, you don't need feign death. Okay. right? We agree?
Is it not true that the spell lasts an hour no
I
matter
thought
when
this
you
was
cast
gonna be
it,
easy.
right?
I'm the worst
Correct.
person
So
ever.
if the person with the amulet casts Feign Death
You
on
did
themselves-
this. You gave us
Yeah.
the
Just
Yeah.
let me
I
get
thought
it
this
out.
would be easy.
Hang on,
Holly, let
Holly,
Holly talk.
Casey's
Wait,
giving us an out though. I
Let-
mean, she's.
Literally,
We don't-
just tell me who
don't-
you're
That's
taking.
the order. I typed it. It's done.
Okay.
We don't
I-
need to. We don't need to spin our
Okay,
wheels.
so no
That's it.
NPCs.
Wait. We need NPC. Which NPC? Let's just do a vote, right? It's either gonna be Karut or it's gonna be Tifrael, right? So let's just vote. Type it in the chat.
I mean, I feel like Tifrael is the more narratively interesting one.
We're not arguing about this. We're picking one. Start typing it, and then when I say go, we press enter. Okay? Oh, tell me when you guys are ready.
I'm frustrated.
I'm ready.
Ready.
Maris is ready. Timber's ready.
Lock
Roswell,
in
you
your
ready?
answers.
Yes.
Chat,
Yes.
who would you like to
Carrie,
come? We'll let
are you
chat
ready?
vote too.
Carrie, you ready?
I'm gonna survey Twitter. We'll find
Three,
out. Hold
two,
on.
1, go.
It
Did
was
we just win?
unanimous.
Did we just
We
win?
should make all our fucking decisions this way.
It was unanimous, guys. I'm so
God, we
proud.
spent so much time.
I would
I-
like to change my answer then.
I will give you all DM inspiration for agreeing on something the fastest you've ever agreed on something.
Oh, it's beautiful. It brings a tear to my eye.
Does anyone want to share with chat what you?
No,
We all-
they
we all
can't know.
We all immediately.
Oh, that wasn't. They didn't get to see.
I didn't get
No.
to see it.
No, they
That's so
didn't. Somebody
sad.
should screenshot that though.
Can you link it? Can you put photos in chat?
At the same time,
I don't. think so.
everybody
Here,
said
I'll-
Tiff. So
here, I'll-
Tifrael's coming.
You can see down at the bottom. It was unanimous.
All right, someone just tell me what it is that I have to do.
Die.
You gotta
Because-
feign death everybody, and then feign death yourself.
This is going to take a while.
Yes.
That's
I'm
fine.
still confused about it.
Okay, it's fine. Just feign death everybody.
Alright.
then
Hey, just
yourself.
everybody.
Right, we've taken a
wait
long
almost
I
rest.
will.
an
I will.
hour
You have
and
taken a
feign death
long
yourself.
rest. Please update long rest things and all of that. Remembering if you have fewer than full hit dice, you only get half of your hit dice back for a long rest.
Well, we never took a long rest, so or a short rest rather.
All right.
Else that?
So as you're all updating, lock in your final answers, and one by one, Akira will drop.
I'm doing it as a ritual every single time
All right, so 10 minutes. 10 minutes
per
apart.
person.
And
That
who's
actually
going in
works.
first? Roswell.
Yes.
Excellent. All right. And then it doesn't really matter who goes next. So, you're dead. You're dead. And you get it dead. And you get it dead.
get it
Oh,
And
can we have aid as well?
Yes, I have that.
Akira, as you see there, Karut is giving you the evil eye all of this time.
I'm not paying attention
Just
to
sort of
crew.
seething.
Oh my God, just kiss him before you go.
Hells to the no. I am
Just out of,
feign deathing people, and we are
Just out of-
taking
Alright.
Tifrael with us.
just out of interest, when we told Tifrael this, what was her reaction? Did she want to come?
It doesn't matter. She
That's an
wants
hour's conversation.
yeah, she wants to she's not eager to come, but she would rather her go than Karut.
Okay.
Just watch me, Karut, as I feign death your girlfriend.
Yeah.
You're not really dead, you just don't want to talk to me. All right, so Akira, you stand there, 5 of your comrades dead before you, the amulet in your hand. What would you like to do?
Plus Tifrael?
Yeah.
Sorry. Yes, okay. Anyway.
I'm gonna use my last spell slot to create food and water.
Right. Something. Don't do a concentration.
I'm feign deathing myself?
Correct answer.
Thank you.
God.
All right. And as you do, you fall unconscious. It's a bit like sleep, except there's no reassuring part where you drift off to dreams. It's just sort of this blankness. And Roswell,
Uh-huh.
your eyes open first.
I love that thing.
Mm-hmm.
It is pitch black. You're lying on something cold and hard along sort of slab. And looking up, you just see a smooth stone ceiling above you.
Okay. So I knew that my party's coming in succession pretty quickly.
You're all there. You look
Yeah.
over, and it looks like you're all lying in some sort of crypt of sorts. Bodies laid out one after another. There are many other bodies in this room.
I want to do Eyes to the Grave to see what other undead are around.
Everything in this room is undead, including your party.
Oh, okay. Cool. I am going to...
You guys are at 0 hit points because of a necromancy spell. I'm gonna call that.
That's
I'm gonna
fair.
call that undead.
Right.
Because it fools spells, right? So.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh, it thinks you're
But then wouldn't we
dead.
just be dead?
Nope. Yeah, undead.
Your soul is still in. Well, I don't know.
Let's not have this discussion again.
Let's not discuss the metaphysical elements of the soul.
We're
Wait, what
all awake,
order
or
did
is
we come
just
in?
Roswell? The one you.
Just Roswell. What would
Okay.
you
So,
like to do?
okay. Do
Holly was
I
dead.
want to do like a perception check though to see like what else I might hear or see. Like I want to, step off of this slab, but I want to be really cautious.
All right. Well, then give me a perception check.
Sure. That's an 11.
All is quiet. It's very dark. The room seems to extend on sort of past the range which you can see. It's very
All right.
cold.
I am going to walk over to Akira, and because she's last, and she can dismiss it because she cast it on everybody else, I'm going to cast a level 1 Cure Wounds on her to wake her up.
All right.
Okay? Akira?
Does that work? Like,
Still unconscious.
Ah, fuck.
You gotta wait the
This is-
full. You gotta wait the full time.
this is why you needed to take it too, so you
No.
could dispel it.
No,
Am I
that's not
wrong
how,
in thinking this?
that's not how it works, right? Think about it, Holly.
It
let's say
reads that way though.
Okay, or think for a moment. If that's how spells works generally, let's say that, I don't know, somebody cast true polymorph on. I don't know. Not actually, you can't dispel that. Let's say that Taurin cast polymorph on himself, right? And I also have polymorph. I can go, well, I've got polymorph. I'm just gonna take it off you, right?
And
Like,
it
think the
also
matter-
explicitly says you in the text
Yeah.
of the spell.
Yeah,
The
the
ca-
time
the
limit.
caster
The
has
time
to.
limit would be there regardless of who did it. What like so. If I was last or you were last and we both did it, the time limit's still there.
If you wanted
That's
to
what I was
remove it,
trying to
you'd
say
have to do
before.
something like dispel magic.
Oh,
Wand.
would I have known? That's detect magic, not dispel.
Oh, damn it. Why don't
It
we
is
have
a
this?
necromancy spell.
Would I have known
called
this?
feign death.
Hang on. I mean, I don't want to I mean, I'll use my cure wounds if I needed to, but would I have known this?
I mean, you know the spell feign death. Like, you have it in your
Right.
repertoire, so you would know how it works.
So I wouldn't have wasted a cure wounds on that. I'm okay if you wanted me to expend it, but if I can get it back, I'd love it. and I will use a dispel magic.
Odd or even?
Or until you use an action to
Odd or
touch the
even,
target
Cookie? Odd, you get it back.
and
Odd.
dismiss
Or-
the
Odd.
spell.
Kira.
So odd. If it's odd, you get it back.
Okay.
Then
Kira.
there you go. Natural one.
Thank
You
you.
is the
All right.
key word in that that
All right.
sentence.
I dispel magic on Akira.
All right. Please account for the spell usage.
I have done so. Thank you.
And Akira, the spell has ended on you.
Then I'll dismiss all the feigned deaths. I still don't understand
Yes.
how you can't just. Okay.
Because only the caster of the spell can do it. That's what the you means.
All right.
You being the caster of the spell.
So, as our first foray into feigned death is over, everyone
Hopefully our last.
regains.
Now on to real death.
We'll do it for real next time. Everyone regains consciousness, and you find yourself in what seems to be some kind of crypt. It is stale and musty, cold, bitterly so, and all is quiet. Just a very long room that seems to stretch on for hundreds of feet. And you are just in the middle of multiple rows of just sort of bodies on slabs.
Anything recognizable or just decayed?
The bodies are in sort of various states of decay. Some of them very old, some of them fairly fresh.
Well, this is cheering.
Is there any symbols on like because we're in a crypt, like family symbols or something?
There are no
That would let us-
names.
no
There are
names, no
no
nothing.
religious iconography. The only symbology that you can see is a lot of them are wearing things that are basically the insignias of the Bronze Guard, or things associated with Romont or Eridor.
Okay, just
It's-
making sure where we're at.
We're just
Okay.
in corpse storage.
Let's get out of this crypt.
Well, before you do, I'd like to cast Aid on Walsley, Tebrin, and Roswell.
Could you remind me the text of aid?
Yes, I will link it. Uno.
Does this put everybody over 100 out of curiosity?
It puts me over 100.
It just goes to 3 people. It's not to everyone. And
No,
I
that's
would
what I mean. Is everybody over 100 now because of this?
not me.
Is anyone
I-
still
I'm-
under 100?
I'm under 100.
Always been under.
I did it at the 3rd level, so it's 10 extra hit points, not the 5.
Okay. 10.
Cool. I reach into the pouch and I hand Akira the fire giant strength potion. I say, use this if you get close, and decide to attack with your sword.
Okay. Thank you.
It'll make it'll buff you up.
I'll stick it somewhere easily accessible to drink, but not
Your sippy
somewhere.
cup hat.
Yes. Shink.
All right.
Anyway.
You make your way to the end of this room finally, and there's just sort of an open kind of doorless exit there that has a spiral staircase that leads up.
Ow.
You slowly walk your way past burnt out torches and braziers sort of line it. Everything is very dark. Do you want to illuminate a light source or not?
I can ring from my ring do dancing lights, so we're not using anything. If you all want this, like
I mean, I can also do dancing lights. Do we want me to try to quietly scout ahead a little bit?
Yeah, not too far, but yes.
Okay, I am going to stealth ahead, checking as I go for anything that looks trap or trap adjacent.
All right, stealth roll followed by an investigation roll.
Stealth. 27. Investigation. 21.
Excellent.
Shockingly good for me.
So, creeping up ahead, you go up several sort of flights of stairs before it comes out into kind of an empty hallway, checking along the way. Stonework is exquisite, very well carved, as if place fit for royalty, crafted by people with a very fine attention to detail. You do see, as you step into this other hallway, there are pieces of artwork on the wall. Just sort of long, narrow, utilitarian hallway, otherwise, with several sort of arching offshoot hallways from it. You look, and all of the art pieces are carvings, as if a single sort of sheet of wood had been carved into various scenes. They're dusty, covered with spider webs. The air doesn't seem like it's moving here, and nothing seems trapped. Nothing seems out of the ordinary. Just deathly still.
What are the scenes on the carved wood?
The first one depicts sort of a scene of kind of the edge of a forest, and with it, it looks to be sort of like half field, half forest, and at the edge there's a bunch of sort of figures depicted, and they all have kind of axes, and it looks like sort of the process of lumbering down the forest.
Oh, you wouldn't have any reason to look for this. I really want to know whether it's the heartwood. Anyway, I'm just gonna cast a quick message back down to my party and say, everything seems clear here.
As you
Creepy
say
as
that,
fuck.
As you say that,
Okay.
You hear this
Bring out your
blood-curdling scream echo down, sort of reverberating through the halls. You can't quite pinpoint where it's coming from. Female voice, just sort of. It seems like it's coming from everywhere at once.
Good. Casting magic was a mistake. I'm just gonna back up and hide myself down.
We all hear this major scream event from the screaming place.
If you guys have if you have a high passive perception, you would likely hear a very faint version of it. Tebrin is like several stories above
20.
you at the moment. Yeah, so you would probably hear a much quieter version of it, and definitely coming from sort of up at the top of the stairs.
Do you guys all hear that? I think Tebrin just died.
No.
Don't say that.
Well,
All right.
that was screaming.
Yeah, and I start to move to sneak up, or to go up there quietly as well. Let's go.
Yeah, let's
Where
all
we
go.
go.
I'll take rear side. Because
All right.
does.
As you all file your way up, you find yourself in these hallways and sort of looking around, poking. You do sort of come to several dead ends. Most of the rooms here have just been completely cleared out, are empty.
Does the screaming continue, or was it a burst and then done?
It was a burst for maybe about 5 or 6 seconds, and then it stops. And then a period of time goes by, and then you hear it again.
Ooh,
And this sort of repeats
probably a parrot.
almost like clockwork.
Is there more of these carvings and stuff on the wall? Like, is
Yeah,
there-
that's the general motif in how these are, in how this area is decorated is kind of like wooden friezes that depict various scenes. All of them are very sort of mundane, everyday scenes. Some of them are kind of more landscapes. Others depict farmers plowing a field, that sort of thing. Everything has an element of sort of the land and nature, and then people in it.
So what spell did you use to trip that off?
Message.
So our dancing lights did not trip it off. Is that correct?
Well, I didn't cast them because Tevin was
Oh.
going to scout,
Okay.
so I didn't want to like bring attention to this area.
My bad. I misunderstood. No problem. All right, we're here to stop the ritual. Is that right?
Maybe
That's our goal, to stop the end of the world ritual.
if it's not complete.
I think it would end the world if it were complete.
We don't
How do
really
we
know.
find it?
I guess as we follow the screams.
I put a hand on Tebrin's shoulder, and I'm like, we've got to go. We've got to get her.
Well, no, I mean, I think this is my fault specifically. I mean, listen to it. It's too regular. I think I set something off.
Yes, it's a lich's fault. So let's go destroy that thing.
I'm just, it's not,
It's
not
a trap.
My, that's
I
not
get
my,
it.
Yeah, it's not my sister. It's a.
Yeah.
It's,
Well,
anyway,
we still have to get her.
Let's go find
yes,
your sister.
believe me, I'm deeply aware.
Let's
Can we
blast the lich.
take out the detect magic wand?
I take out the detect magic wand.
All right,
Like-
the detect magic wand is out.
Take out a copper piece and flip it.
And what do you
this
want me
is
to
no
do with
good.
it? What am I detect
Uh,
magic?
If you don't want to use it, I'll use it to detect magic. But
Well, no, I'm okay.
I mean,
That's all. You just
yeah.
have to tell me what you want to do, and we can do it. Boom, detect magic.
All right. Currently in your vicinity, don't detect any magic.
Okay.
Aside from your party.
There's no magic here.
okay.
You follow your way out and around, sort of a somewhat serpentine, sort of maze-like connection of hallways and such, until you find a stairwell that looks more central, and head up. This one, the first one that's not sort of spiral in nature, and you do finally come out into what appears to be an offshoot of a main sort of hallway or concourse. Looking out back behind you, it seems like in this sort of main area there is a very large sort of ornate set of double doors that have kind of this gothic wrought iron pattern to them, and are paneled with glass that's been frosted over in this sort of faded, now almost yellowish orange color that just casts this very slight glow, as there's not much light pouring in from that. And as you go over and sort of look through the other windows that frame around this door that aren't quite that color, you look out and you can see that you are on top of a large sort of mountainous plateau overlooking a city. Those of you who have been here before do recognize the city as Romont. It appears that you are at the front doors of the castle at the moment, and you look out and you see there's no smoke coming from chimneys, there's no lights down, everything is just very still.
Yodelay. Oh, sorry.
That music. Sorry, the music like hit like this really cool like point. Anyway. Mm. So do we just go in the doors?
The scream pierces the air again, coming from sort of out in the other direction. Those doors led sort of out of the castle. That's kind of like the main entrance. There is this long sort of lobby-like hallway with sort of large arching ceilings and columns along it, a whole bunch of hallways off of it. Culminates in a set of stairs that go up and then sort of head off to two different directions, and another set of stairs that go up, and so it looks like the whole thing basically ascends a level or two, and the screams are coming from the top of those stairs.
Just to be clear, we've been in the castle the whole time, right? We're not coming into the castle?
You came up from somewhere that you figure is underneath the castle.
Okay. We just kind of like, we've just now,
Sub-basements or crypts
we've
or
come
something like
into
that.
like the main, main hall.
The habitable part of the castle, yes.
Okay.
Is there like a figure or something that the scream is coming from? Like like we don't see any
You
person.
don't see a source of the scream as of yet.
Okay, and also, like, when you said that the screams were regular, were they, like, to the second, or...
Would you like to try to time them?
I would like to get a set, because, like, I was working under the presumption that I had set something off by casting magic. Is that what this is?
Or is it like a cuckoo clock?
Yeah, you know how we have that cuckoo clock in the kitchen that just, like, every 15 minutes just screams?
Shrieks. Yeah. That's the one.
I mean, if the lich is gonna have a clock, it's gonna be that one.
Time for
But, like,
tea.
is it... Time for tea. Ah! Like, does it feel like that regular?
Make an intelligence check.
Oh no. Just straight intelligence.
Yeah. I mean, if you're trying to, like,
We're
time
not
it and
under
figure
stress.
out-
It's fine. It's gonna be an easy roll.
10.
All right. Going through, you can kind of try to count in between. They seem like they're fairly regular intervals. It's not like mechanical clockwork, but then again, you can't really count with that much of precision.
And
It just seems like a regular thing. The scream is not the same exact scream every single time.
okay. No, that's good information. Was it because, like, was it something that I heard, like, as I was working my way up? Or was it
First time you noticed it was when you were up there.
Okay.
You were very busy looking for traps.
That's fair. Okay, because I was working under the presumption that, like, I had been in complete silence, and then I cast magic, and then it started happening, which is why I presumed
Maybe it's
that
an
it was
alarm.
an alarm.
All right, let's
Now
find out.
I don't know anymore.
It's like,
So all right. Have we gone into the castle yet, or no?
You are sort of in the main lobby of the castle. You haven't
Okay.
left the castle. You started in the bottom crypt layers. You've walked your way up, and now you're in the main lobby.
Okay.
And
gotcha.
the screams seem to be coming in sort of the main sort of grand concourse, the way it would normally funnel you. You imagine that this likely leads to some sort of throne room. That perhaps would be a great place for a final encounter.
Okay.
It's just sort of like, so do you guys want to explore the castle, or do you just want to, like, go up the stairs to the place where the
Any
lich
door
and the
you go
sister
through is going to end up in the place that you need to be.
Yeah.
So feel free to explore.
Hey, do you
Perfect.
have 6 more feigned deaths real quick? I have an idea.
how long do you want to be here?
Okay.
Let's go to the throne
Okay.
room.
I guess you're doing this.
Yep.
All right. So,
Real?
Tune in next week.
yeah. As you all sort of take a hard breath, walking up the stairs, sort of they go up and they curve back onto what is sort of almost this sort of terrace balcony-like thing that overlooks the entire lobby. And at the top of the stairs, there's a set of 2 very large double doors. You can see currently closed, but you can see a little flicker of what seems to be candle or torch light just underneath the bottoms of the doors, as if there are lights in this room.
Very quickly, I'm going to put Death Ward on Tifrael and Death Ward on myself.
All right. We will note this with
let's see.
a radioactive symbol.
Just because it's free, I will guidance some people.
You can only guidance one person, and it only lasts for a minute.
Well, why not? Like, it gives you a 1d4 just in case. Who's going through the door first?
Oh, is there, like, a less just straight in through the front door approach?
Is there a dumb waiter we could sneak up through?
Not that you've seen.
I mean, like, is it worth to try to, like, see if there's a back way we can come in, or are we just gonna walk through the front doors like the big damn heroes we are? Okay, well, we're gonna walk in through the front doors.
Yeah, I just
Look, we gotta find the Emperor clone by coming through the front.
I don't.
Can't argue with that.
All right. Are you opening the doors? God, this is painful.
It's because I'm scared of the doors, okay? I don't want to open the doors.
I'll open the door.
All right. So Akira opens
I'll just
the door.
Fling them open.
Oh.
We're
All
here,
right.
bitches.
Show us the library!
Where's your
Where are your
library?
books?
What you have found is not the library. So
Damn it.
there
Wrong
will be a
room.
bit of narration here as I describe the room, and then I will show you a map. During this process, please just listen, as there will be
Okay.
a fair bit of information, and then there will be a graphic that hopefully answers some of your questions.
Thank you, Professor Casey.
I have to go.
All right. And that's where we're going to end. All right, cool. So, as the doors themselves open, you see sort of the glimmer of candlelight sort of coming out from several columns that go in this very short hallway before the room opens up into a much larger space. The first thing that catches your eye is these two very tall, almost obelisk-like structures that look not like part of the original construction of the room, but something that has been erected separately. The one on your left is sort of seething with this shadow-like energy, and the shadows drip down and kind of serpentine around on the ground, kind of flowing out from it, about 30 feet or so, just filling that entire side of the room with this black swirling morass of dark energy. The top sort of glimmers like a beacon in a very purplish glow of energy. On the other side, mirroring it, is a similar obelisk. This one instead teeming with life, covered in verdant green. Leaves and vines come out of it. The grass covered in what seems to be almost a swampy, wet, greenish motif. The vines tendril towards the center of this room, where there is a singular platform. From the shadowy spire, a large collection of bones piles, serpentines its way around the room, and ends at this center spire. Looking up through all of this, hovering about 15 feet off the ground, you see the body of a dark elf woman hovering there. It doesn't appear like there's anything mechanical suspended or just sort of hovering in the center of this room. And then, as if like clockwork, the scream erupts again. But this time you see the source of what is causing this. Two sort of whirling beams of energy come from the top of these obelisks. One a brilliant jade green, the other a dark sort of smoky purple, swirling their way through, connecting at exactly the same time onto what you recognize as the body of Arisha, Tebrin's sister. And as they do, you can see her body be ripped sort of apart, and the sort of weird nebulous fabric in between is this glowing, bright, pinkish purple color. And then as the scream abates, the body closes back up as if there were no wounds or anything, and the energy subsides again. And you see that energy waft up the stairs to the platform at the back of the room. And then on top, sitting at the throne there, staff in hand, the glowing crystalline sphere at the top of it, the energy snakes in as you see the figure lean over, surveying down at the door that has just opened. Lich King Taurin, sitting upon his throne, stands. The hood sort of falls from the back of his head. You can see he looks as you remember him, not as some sort of undead abomination, but as a very alive man. There's other things in the room, but I'll let you discover those on your own. All right. I'll do a sort of slow pan here for chat.
And then we just start blasting.
All right.
Good old Danny DeVito.
So, welcome to Taurin's throne room. Would you like to roll initiative now? Or would you like to wait until next time?
Now.
No.
Now, obviously.
I want to have the full information so that I have plenty of time to stress about it.
Oh.
I vote next
And-
time.
Fuck. Surprise, surprise. Tavern's
know,
first.
I've been rolling pretty shitty on initiative
Yeah, 29.
recently.
What an
No, I mean, this
abomination.
is...
I'm liking the
Yours-
zero, Akira. Liking
Yours
the
seems to
zero.
have glitched.
Oh, why do I have
I like,
disadvantage?
I like the implication too that Akira just like threw the doors open and there was just like, oh shit.
I did my part. I opened the doors.
She's like, Thane death.
Just letting you know, Holly was also the one that says, "I'm gonna take my axe. You might hate me," and started it all in a certain cave in a different campaign. Well done, Holly.
All right.
You might
so
all
we
hate
need
me,
to
but
roll
I'm gonna
for
do this.
Tifrael. All right. Well, now
You're a rock star.
get your initiative on. Go play.
She has rolled a nate.
I'm not
That
gonna roll
isn't
Taurin.
really very great. You would roll him if you weren't afraid.
No, I'm actually using passive initiative for him,
Yeah.
Oh,
so I'm not rolling.
so
I
We
will.
don't usually know when they go until we've been in combat.
So there you go. The initiative order.
Hold
Tebrin
on.
first.
I need to zoom in on Taurin to see if he looks cool or not. Can't even see his face. Alright, I accept.
What's that edgelordy thing in the middle?
Yeah, I don't know.
I missed her.
Very grumpy, isn't she?
That's my child you're talking about.
All right,
You have
so
a very grumpy child.
Tebrin
She
will
was.
start things off most likely, followed by Roswell, then Walsley, then Kendra, then Tifrael, and Akira will bring the first dead person back to life, most likely at 0 initiative, or not even get a turn.
These are the options.
We'll
These
see.
are the options.
Chad's hands are way out of this.
Cool.
Ooh.
Well, I was thinking maybe we would have spent half the session and then gotten here, but that was
Please.
This is us you're talking about. It's a good thing you
Oh.
put the part 1 in the title.
I'm glad that you had high hopes, but
We break those instantly.
To be honest, I mean, like, in some ways, I would rather go into this at the beginning of a session versus like late, like, you know, like having.
Yes, I would like to start this fight at 7:30 p.m. as opposed to like
Yeah.
10.
let's do 3 rounds and then wait
Right.
a week.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think it's going to take that many rounds.
I don't think so either.
I think it's going to be a pretty, like, it's going to be over in 4 or 5 rounds. You're either
Yeah,
all
I
going to
think
be
so too.
dead or
Like-
you're going to,
Like,
there's very
Liches
little
don't have a
margin
lot
for
of-
error.
liches are all damage, not a lot of HP. Either he kills us all, or we kill him, like, immediately.
Or he's not the only thing in the room.
Oh yeah, we have to kill Arisha too, don't we? Oh, I forgot that we have to murder Arisha.
What?
Please don't murder Arisha.
She left us. Anybody who leaves us gets murdered.
Wait a
Ziggy's
minute.
next.
That should have been you, my friend. You
I
left
didn't leave
us.
you. I'm right here.
You left us to.
Cool.
Not true at all. I found you.
Well, thank you all
On a
for
path.
suffering with us through the who gets feigned death first saga. We got here in the end, even though that was supposed to be just like a trivial thing. I actually was hoping that you guys wouldn't remember feigned death and you would all just beat the shit out of each other and end up there with 0 hit points for no reason.
We could have PvP'd.
I think that would have been amazing. So I wanted to preserve that option. Very cool. I'm very interested that you all chose Tifrael.
We brought her back to life just so she could die.
To be honest, the logic for me was like, we made the effort, we made the extra effort to bring her back, and to like leave the tree up.
I understand the logic. The argument I didn't hear though is none of you are sure that she isn't working for Taurin right now.
Yeah.
Which is a good gamble. I like it. And if she's gonna rule Eridor, then she gotta.
I am sure she is not working for Taurin because she asked for us to kill her.
Yeah, but she might.
That's all I need.
But wouldn't an alien ask? Cool. Well, thank you all for tuning in. It's awesome. Thank you all for all the support for the new subscriberiness and all of that. I promise that Dora will figure out how it all works and then somehow inform me.
We're going to need a pinned sheet, please.
Yes. Somewhere easy to find it. I don't know if that's...
Literally cannot make it easier to find.
So, check out
Short of taping it to your forehead.
That would make it harder to read.
If not impossible.
This is not a thing.
Find out or go check out DM's Guilds for the double revenue for content creators. Lots of great people to support out there. Give us a follow if you like, or if you don't like, just follow us on Twitter
really
at
like, give us a subscribe.
ROLL20SPOTLIGHT or on Twitch. Or go to the website. You can check out both campaigns. We have another campaign on Thursday. Lions and Crows, DM'd by Timur. Which is just getting started, I think. Should be good. I think this is going to be my new Gislin accent.
Oh.
Oh.
Whoa.
Like the Alencia is back.
Right. Well, you know, Alencia's is a little bit more Irish. I don't know what the one I was just doing is. But, cool. What does all of this mean? We don't know yet.
It means you're all gonna die.
It means you're all gonna die, or at least some of you are. So, that was the penultimate episode of Unexpected Arrivals / the Jadewood Forest. You got one more in you guys. No more planning, aside from between now and the week. Then we will see. So,
This is where we're gonna feign death, though, right?
So I will say this, and this is a little painful, and I'm not trying to like poke and prod wounds, but
and yet,
if you want, but I'm gonna do it anyway. If you want your characters to have something meaningful or something prepared to say in case they should die during all of this, that may be something to think about.
We need a death blurb.
We won't we won't just like, I'm not just gonna be like, you're dead, 0 hit points, whatever. Like, you can have like a little death scene and all of that. So if that's something that you think would help with closure in things.
So do we get to call timeouts mid-combat? Like, Taurin, one of them's died. Can we have a minute? They have a blurb prepared. He's like, of course, 1 minute. I'll be over here.
We will see. He'll actually just keep taking turns.
Okay.
Cool. And then I think it'll be hard to have some sort of denouement without knowing the outcome of this fight. So maybe we'll hold off and do that episode, the denouement part, and then go into the planning the next campaign.
What's the denim? What?
The denouement is sort of like the action after the action ends. So it's like the epilogue.
You call it epilogue.
The epilogue, fine.
None of that French shit here.
I hate all
Yeah,
of
some
you.
demon what? I don't know what you're saying.
Demon Wa. Cool. And yeah. It's been a run. You're finally fighting Taurin. So I went through one last funny story before we leave here. It's not really funny, but I went through and looked at all of the battle maps for the big like boss fights that I've made, and you've only used half of the maps that I have prepared.
That's because we mostly argue about what to do.
You've only used half of the giant set piece encounters that I've created.
You guys want to just like turn around and leave this one?
Nope, I'm out.
The door is shut
oh, wait,
behind
there's
you.
a lich.
We'll
Wait,
fight you later, Taurin.
This was a terrible
in an
idea.
unimpressive and boring battle map. Find us in the broom closet in an hour.
Wah, wah, wah. Cool. Well,
Meet us behind the castle for an ass kicking.
until next time.
Yeah. Just thinking about it, like, kind of brings tears to my eyes a little bit. Just,
Yeah, thinking
I
about
got
you guys
this.
making decisions or
it's
You mean
tears to
we
my
made a
eyes,
decision
too.
in like 4 seconds.
I think from now on we should just
After
we
2
should
hours.
we should
We
just
made a decision
we
in
should
4
make all of our
seconds.
decisions from now on by voting
Bye,
in the
chat. Thanks for watching. See you next time or Thursday.
Good night.
Bye.